How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? What's the real truth about Citizen Kane?
It'll probably turn out to be a very simple thing.
Hi, everyone. Hope you're doing well. I'm Parker.
I'm Max, and this week some guy came up and tripped me. That's the reason I came in fourth. If it hadn't been for that, that race would have been a cinch. I tried to find out who it was later, but I couldn't find out. Nobody'd ever tell you who it was, because they'd be scared. They know what kind of guy I am.
Welcome back to another episode of Better Than Citizen Kane, the highly subjective show where we look at a movie and ask that titular question. Because when every movie ever made is a musical contender for the title of greatest film of all time, you have to wonder, Better Than Citizen Kane.
Now to get back to my story. Hey, that's my show!
Oh, why don't you stop annoying people?
Fair enough. This week we're finally shaking the dust of this crummy town and discussing Frank Capra's It's a Wonderful Life. I felt like that's the funniest version of that.
Yeah, I think so. That's good.
The point of this movie is that the town is crummy, right?
Yes, absolutely.
That
That
was
is the
my
moral.
takeaway.
The moral of the movie is, man, doesn't Bedford Falls suck?
Yeah, Bedford
This
Falls
is a
sucks,
bad
and it's actually a
place to be.
tragedy about this man who's stuck here.
Truly.
He's trapped here with all these people who think he loves them.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm notorious for taking the wrong message away from It's a Wonderful Life, so I don't think that's too far-fetched for me to say that. Oh, man. Parker, do I even need to ask why we're bringing this to the show?
I mean, you can anyway.
Why are we bringing this to the show, Parker?
Because It's a Wonderful Life. That's why. Like, what do you want from
Right.
me?
It is It's a Wonderful Life. The film is on the Vatican's list of important
Yes,
films.
the Vatican has this film listed.
Which is a rare... there's at least one other film we've talked about on this show that was on the Vatican's list.
Yes,
I can't remember what it was.
I think it was The Wizard of Oz. Was it not?
Oh, you're right.
that might not. That might not be. Maybe it was something else because I feel like we found out about this earlier.
There's
and
something
then,
else
yeah.
that has... Because it's the
I'll have to
under
look
the,
at the list.
They've got categories. It's a Wonderful Life is under values.
Yeah.
So I'm like, is there another movie that would be under values? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Forrest Gump? I don't know.
That's funny.
I mean, so it's on... Hang on, I'm just doing a quick goog.
Yes, gotta go check out the Vatican's list.
Yep.
But it is like in the meantime, while you're doing that, like it is.
2001: A Space Odyssey is on there.
Okay.
Under the category of art. Citizen Kane is on the list.
Oh, sure. Naturally.
We've never talked about that movie on this podcast. That's under art. Fantasia, under art. It's
Was
a
it
Wonderful Life
Fantasia
under-
that we talked about it then? It
don't
might have.
know.
I don't know. But
Little
somehow,
Women-
some way, there's an
Little
episode
Women
where we discovered this.
1933 is under art.
Cool.
Metropolis is under art. It might have been Metropolis. Nosferatu is under art.
I do remember
got-
being surprised
we've got good ones
Nosferatu was on the Vatican's
That's
list.
bonkers. And The Wizard of Oz is under art. So those are the movies that we've
Okay,
covered.
Yeah.
Oh man, imagine if we just covered the Vatican's
Just
list
did
of
the Vatican's
films.
list.
I mean,
That's so
not
funny.
out of the question.
Eh.
It's also It's a Wonderful Life. Just again, we need to remind everyone that that's what this movie is. It's number 11 on the American Film Institute's 1998 greatest movie list, and then it dropped to number 20 on its 2007 list.
Rip.
Because we hate sincerity in
we
the
hate
21st century.
sentiment.
It's number 8 on its list of greatest love stories. What could possibly be above It's a Wonderful Life for love story? And it's 1 on the AFI's list of the most inspirational American films of all time. So
Sure.
that's nothing to, And in 1990, it became one of 25 films selected for preservation. So by the National Film
I was gonna
Registry.
say that's the second year they run it. I think they start in '89, and then I think the
Okay.
following. So I think
I was
like,
wondering
it's,
if that was.
It's
I was
very
about to
early
say
days.
it's the OG,
Yeah,
but thank you for.
I think
preventing me from being embarrassed.
'89 is the first year of the registry.
On the list that inspired this show, the BFI Sight and Sound 2022, it's number 135,
Not bad.
directly behind Lawrence of Arabia, and directly ahead of Jean Renoir's A Day in the Country.
Good company.
And it's number 51 on the Letterboxd Top 250 and number 20 on the IMDb Top 250. So we at least know that this movie is considered one of the greats.
Yeah, it's very, very well liked. You know,
Parker, do you think this is one of the great movies of all time?
Those of you who are watching, you can take a look behind me.
Oh, yeah, he's
No,
got-
not really. It's whatever.
Yeah, he actually has a poster behind him that says, "It's a Wonderful Life is not a great film."
Yeah, it's a crazy poster to have, but I like it. It's conversation starter.
It's plain text on a white background. Wow. No, he's got a poster of It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
Beautiful poster.
I love this movie.
What's your history with this movie? Have we talked about that?
I don't know that we have.
I don't know if I've ever asked.
Yeah, it's one of those that, like, I knew existed for a while, but wasn't necessarily like my family sits down and watches this movie, you know? Like, it's not something that we gather around and do, but, like, every single person in my family has seen this movie because it's a Wonderful Life. Like, it is ubiquitous with the holiday. In the long gone days before streaming, this movie is, like, it's up there with the Rankin Bass and the Charlie Brown Christmas Special, where it's just on rotation on TV constantly.
Yeah.
And that's part of, we'll get into it with the history, but, like, TV kind of saved this movie from obscurity, which is crazy. So I would imagine that sometime in my early life, I probably caught pieces of that at some point on TV, not really connecting exactly what it was. I think the first time I, like, sat down and watched this, like, consciously, I was probably, like, 12 or 13, you know? Okay. Like, it was kind of around the same time we talk about a lot on the show of me discovering movies, but a little earlier, you know? Because this was one that, like, was, you know, fully parent approved.
Right.
And I just, like, it made me cry. Like, I'm a very sentimental person. I was a very sensitive kid. And so I just kind of latched onto this movie very quickly. And then it is been in my life ever since. Like, it's one of those things that it's hard to quantify movies that you have seen the most in your life, you know, pre-Letterboxd where you could log all this stuff. But, like, holiday movies are an easy one to point to because it's like, I know for a fact I've watched this every year for probably the last 15 years in a row. Like, right. I know that for sure. And this is a movie that I love so much that, like, it's not, like, it gets me in the Christmas spirit, but, like, so much of this movie isn't Christmas related, really. And because of that, like, I watch this movie throughout the year, you know, it's something that I've returned to often. But yeah, so I have enjoyed this film for a very long time. It's one of the few consistent things where, like, you and I have talked about when you're young and start getting into movies, you try to have opinions you think other people will respect, you know, when you're making your list of, like, the top 10 best movies and your personal favorites, they're all movies that you think it's like, well, there's a lot of Christopher Nolan on this list, you know?
Well, people say that this is one of the greatest films of all time, so obviously that's one of my favorite movies. Right.
And as I've gotten older, I've become a lot more comfortable with my own tastes, and my own personal favorites are kind of outside of that particular canon. It's a Wonderful Life is one of the few that has remained consistent that entire time. Like, I've told people since probably the age of 13 that this is one of my favorite movies, and to this day I tell people it might be my period favorite movie, you know?
Wow. We finally did it, everyone. We finally got to Parker's favorite movie.
We did it, folks. It took us 3 calendar years, but we made it. 76 episodes.
I just want to tell you about this bit, because I saw this... So, okay.
Yes, please. Your history.
Quick. So, I'd seen like a third of this probably when I was like 15 or 16. My dad put it on like his laptop in our kitchen while we were doing other Christmas things. And then I think my mom was just kind of like, we were in the middle of like something else, and she was like, can you just turn that off? Because it was just like a little too loud, a little too, you know, like it was just a little too overstimulating in the room. And that was the only time I'd seen this, any part of this. I mean, again, we'll talk about it in criteria, but this is a movie that you do just know about. It's not like I was watching it a third in and going, now what's this now? Frank Capra, really? Oh, Jimmy Stewart. Wow, he's quite famous. You know, I wasn't doing that at 15. I wouldn't have, but I also, even if I had, would have been prone to doing that. I wouldn't have done it. Because I know what It's a Wonderful Life is. But I didn't see this for the first time until your house in 2022 came over and it was like, I'm ready for this. This is one of Parker's favorite films. This is a classic. I've never seen it. And then I watched it and didn't cry. And at the end, I was very quiet. Yep. And you were kind of like, what did you think? How are you? What's going on? Like, what do you think? And I was like, I'm having a crisis because my takeaway of this movie was that I hadn't spent my whole life doing favors for people and thus would not receive the love and support that George Bailey had. Like, I was like, I haven't done enough. I'm not George Bailey. Like, I haven't done enough. I should have done more. You know, I had kind of my Oscar Schindler moment. I was like, I could have done that. I could have been nicer to, you know. And let's put it this way, the Harlan Thrombey moment. I could have been nicer to Joni. Anyway, that was my first watch of this. And I just didn't really go back to it. Mainly because, like, Christmas time the next year. Did you watch it Christmas 2023? Did you do a movie night then?
I don't think I did a movie night then.
Right.
I think I watched it. I watched it in theaters that year, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay. Yes,
yeah.
no, you did.
Yeah, I went to the Broadway.
Because friend of the show, Jose Valle Jr. was in town, and he and I went to the Broadway to see Poor Things, and as we were going into Poor Things, we saw you coming in for it, and he was like, "Is that Parker Rawlins?" And I was like, "What?" And I looked at you, we looked at each other. It's something I think about all the time. It's just like, I miss living in the city. I miss living in the city with all my friends. Just being like, oh, and Parker's here seeing It's a Wonderful Life. Oh, great, hello.
Yeah.
And then just going our separate ways to the movies we were going to see. Anyway, there's just not really like another opportunity for me to watch this because I didn't, I wasn't eager to go back.
Sure.
Even though even watching it then, I was like, I recognize this is a triumphant piece of filmmaking. Yeah. I'm just in a weird space the wrong way. For some reason. Hit me in the wrong way, but this time I can gladly say that isn't the case.
Yes!
It was my birthday.
Happy birthday, Max.
26.
Everybody say happy birthday, Max.
Yeah. I've got my hand up to my ear. I'm waiting.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
There you
Thank
go.
you. Every single listener in the world just now said happy birthday. But yeah, I turned 26, and I didn't really have any plans because I tend to do things earlier because my birthday is so close to Christmas, and just like people traveling generally. And so went to a Christmas party with some friends, and then we went and saw this in theaters. I finally did the theaters thing, and it was great. Good movie. The message actually hit me this time, and I was like, oh, I'm crying. Great.
Yay.
But I will just say all this to say that before we went, my friend Allie asked me, like, oh, what are some of your favorite Christmas movies? And I just started doing this bit of, like, film bro who can't not say, like, the greats of all time. So it's like, what's your favorite, like, Christmas movie? Probably, like, Taxi Driver.
That's good.
I really, The Dark Knight. Dark Knight is really good. It's like, these are your favorite Christmas movies? Yeah, 2001. Oh my god, I saw 2001. It broke my brain. Just that guy. I think that guy's kind of sad and funny. It's the only movies he knows how to talk about.
Yeah, the guy we saw at the Broadway talking about Das Boot. I think about him a lot.
I think about Das Boot guy a lot.
Yeah.
He made such an impact on me at that There Will Be Blood screening, which is my own damn fault for going to a There Will Be Blood theatrical screening and not expecting the Das Boot guy to be there.
So funny. Just
talking about talking to his own roommate about owning it on DVD and being like, yeah, Das Boot, and but it wasn't until later in the conversation that he's like, well, we have that on DVD. I've seen it. And he's like, yeah, I was just... Anyway, Das Boot. Good times. It's a Wonderful Life, Parker.
Yes.
What do you know about the making of this movie?
Oh boy, howdy. I know quite a bit. Okay, so this film starts life as a short story written by Philip Van Doren Stern. And
great name.
Yes, very good name. And he tries to sell this short story to several publishers, doesn't go anywhere. So for Christmas that year in 1943, he self-publishes it as a booklet, 22 pages, and he sends it to 200 of his friends and family for his Christmas card. Oh. And the story follows George Pratt. He is a man dissatisfied with his life. He contemplates suicide. He goes on a bridge on Christmas Eve, and he is approached by a, quote, strange, unpleasantly dressed but well-mannered man with a bag. Dude strikes up a conversation. George tells him he wishes he was never born. The man tells him, hey, your wish has now been granted. And he tells George to take the bag and pretend that he is a door-to-door brush salesman to go and, like, if anybody talks to him, he's like, yeah, this is your cover, right? George goes around the town, and all of his friends have taken different paths, and, like, life is very different without him. His little brother, who he's saved from a swimming accident, has died. You know, they pull that into the movie. He finds the woman that he knows is his wife. She's married to somebody else. He skirts around the conversation. He offers her a complimentary brush. Her husband isn't happy about that and tries to kick him out.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because that makes a ton of sense to me in the movie as well.
Yeah.
Because
So
the...
Mm-hmm.
All right.
It's interesting, right? So his husband kicks him out, and I love this. I think this detail is really interesting. Their son pretends to shoot him with a toy cap gun, and he yells at him and says, "You're dead. Why won't you die?" And that freaks him out, and so he leaves. George goes back to the bridge, talks to the man, and he's like, "Hey, what's going on? What is this?" And the man's like, "Hey, like, you have the greatest gift of all, the gift of life, George."
Right.
And George gets the lesson, begs the man to go back. Man agrees. George goes home. Everything's back to normal.
George Pratt goes, so it's kind of like it's.
It's like it's a Wonderful Life situation. And he goes, yes.
Yeah. Oh, so you're kind of like Clarence.
You're kind of like Clarence, yes.
Yeah.
And so he goes back. Is thrilled to see his wife, like so happy to see her, and she doesn't know what's going on. And the story ends. He says, as he's about to explain, his hand bumps a brush on the sofa behind him. Without turning around, George knows the brush was the one that he presented to her earlier. So it's kind of this weird kind of Twilight Zone-y ending of like, the brush is there, whoa, you know?
Whoa.
And so that's the story.
Oh, this is basically a Twilight Zone episode.
It is true. Like this one specifically, like reading through the synopsis of The Greatest Gift, I'm like, oh, this is a Twilight Zone episode. Like,
yeah, The Greatest Gift. There is a version of this where It's a Wonderful Life was never made as a film,
yes.
and The Greatest Gift was adapted.
Yeah, Rod Serling finds this. Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's very, very interesting. And so that's where it begins life. RKO hears about it. Like 6 months later, they pick up the rights. They buy it for $10,000, and they immediately start putting it into development.
Wow, so RKO heard about the short story.
Yes, I'm assuming somebody that this author knew either worked for RKO or knew someone did. Somehow they get their hands on it.
Wow.
Which is very interesting. It's just like, hey, can we buy your Christmas card?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess. Originally, they're hoping to turn it into a vehicle for Cary Grant. Cary Grant eventually, he finds his Christmas movie in The Bishop's Wife and goes on to make that instead.
Well, that's clearly just as influential as
Yes, clearly.
So I've definitely heard of that.
RKO options 3 versions of the script as time goes on. One of them written by Dalton Trumbo, which is interesting.
Ooh.
So Trumbo took a pass on this. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't go anywhere.
He's the Bath guy, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
He's the Bath guy. Yeah, it's Bryan Cranston took a pass on this.
Right, Bryan Cranston's in the Bath. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of the original Mank.
Yes.
In my mind. Just because Trumbo came out first.
True.
You could just
this languishes in development hell for a while. RKO doesn't feels like they can't really do anything with it. And they ask Capra to read it. They're like, hey, you should take a look at this. Like you might be interested in this. His production company, Liberty Films, had a 9-film distribution agreement with RKO at the time. He loves it. He latches onto it immediately. He wants this to be his first Hollywood film after coming back from the war.
Right.
He was doing
I was going to ask where he's at in his career.
Yes, he is off. He has just finished doing war stuff, documentaries and training films for the military.
Interesting. That's interesting because this lost every nomination at the Oscars to Best Years of Our Lives, right?
Yeah.
Which is like entirely
like
about
that is
from
the post-war movie. Mm-hmm,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very curious.
That's interesting.
So Capra buys the rights from RKO for their original $10,000. They throw in the 3 scripts for free. They're like, yeah, you can just have these. Do what you want with them.
Cool.
And so he starts.
He made a lovely little paper
it.
mache doll.
Yes.
And then he said, "This symbolizes a communist." And then
this is it. This is the film. And so he starts reworking it. He takes bits and pieces from each of these scripts. He works with a few other writers, and they pound out a draft of this, right?
Yeah.
They create the script as we know it today. They go into production from there. From the get-go, Capra is like, Jimmy Stewart, it doesn't happen. Like
Whoa.
this has to be Jimmy.
Right, because this is what, like 5 years after Smith Goes to Washington?
Thereabout, I think.
Smith Goes to Washington is 39.
Yes.
This is 46.
Yep. And he had done You Can't Take It With You in 38 with him as well.
Right.
So they had an established rapport with each
Yeah.
other. And what's really interesting about it is that as he's making it, there's a lot of pushback of like, I don't think Stewart can, like, Stewart's an everyman. He's so cheery and optimistic and jovial, and this script, like, goes some dark places. Like, I don't think he can do it. And Capra was adamant. He's like, no, he's got this, which is so interesting because, like, if you think about it in that context, like, we don't get Stewart's later career without this movie. Like, we don't get Vertigo without this film.
Yeah, I was going to say, I was like, we don't even really get Rear Window. Like,
no, not Rear Window, not Anatomy of a Murder, not Vertigo.
Right.
Like, nobody gives Stewart these projects if they don't see that he can handle these kind of dramatic chops.
That's interesting.
Which is really interesting. So we get Stewart on board. Originally, Capra really wanted Jean Arthur, who had starred both with in You Can't Take It With You and Mr. Smith Goes to Washington previously.
I mean, yeah, if you can get Jean Arthur.
Just get the team back together, you know?
Yeah.
She was already committed to a Broadway show, so she had to turn it down. And
Hadestown?
they go through...
Was it Hadestown?
Yes, it was. That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, no, she was going on for Oh Mary at the time. But
that's much better. Damn it. Yeah, you're right. That's way more. Yeah, no, that's good. Oh man.
So they consider several others: Olivia de Havilland, Martha Scott, including Ginger Rogers, which is kind of interesting. And they finally land on Donna Reed. It's so strange, like. Even like knowing as much about it as I do, like the studio system is such an odd place, right? Because like they borrow her from MGM. MGM like lends her out for this film.
Yeah.
It's like,
I mean, it's literally just
crazy.
like it would be like if like the company that you edit videos for was like, we're sending you over to our competitor.
Yeah, it's just like,
because
okay.
they really need an editor.
It's like when that the sportscaster got traded for Oswald the Lucky Rabbit in like 2012 or whatever. It's nuts. Yeah, so we get kind of our major cast
That made it
together.
sound like a draft. That's so funny, though.
Yeah, it
that made it
was.
sound like a sports draft.
A lot of the cast is, they have a lot of different people in consideration. One of my favorites that I love is that for the role of Potter, Vincent Price was considered at one point, which is kind of interesting. To have like a younger, like a young rival to George is really interesting.
Kind of menace too.
Yeah, it's curious. But like,
because that's like peak, like that's like Laura age. Vincent Price.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay,
Very
that's
young.
interesting. Yeah, that would have been interesting.
For what it's worth, I think Lionel Barrymore is pretty spectacular.
No,
in
I
this.
mean,
like,
yes, absolutely. I mean, I feel like he created.
Duplicitous.
He created a version of the rich old man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So they get the cast together, and they start filming. It was shot at RKO Studios in California. They built 3 city blocks of Bedford Falls. Like, this set is enormous. And that's interiors and exteriors. Like, this was a functioning town. They brought in, like, 12 elm trees and, like, planted them along the causeway. This whole set covered 4 acres collectively.
Yeah. So it was really mean when Jimmy Stewart kept improvising that line about it being a crummy town.
Yeah, it was. All of the set designers off camera just go, oh, every time he says it. And he went around and apologized after every take.
Track. It was very audible on the mics.
Yeah. So yeah, like, it's basically like they just needed, that was one of Capra's things. He's like, this needs to feel like a real place. Like, that's very, very important. And so they built this whole stretch of town, which is great.
I wonder how many movies had done that level, that scale of city build. Like,
I think at the time it was one of the larger sets that had been built, like, collectively that way. Because like you have like large set pieces from the silent era of like D.W. Griffith, like, building like a Cleopatra's Palace or whatever. But like, as far as like a consistent, like, there are multiple buildings here. There's 70 storefronts that they built for this. Like, it was a full town, basically,
That's
which
so
is
cool.
crazy. Yeah, it's
That's
really
so
cool. We used to make movies, baby.
We still make movies. Just because you haven't been to the theater all year, Parker.
I've been busy. But a big part of this, obviously, this film takes place, part of the reason why they needed to build the town was A, because they wanted a sense of realism, but B, they have to do various different seasons. Like they have to show Bedford Fall in every season, and a big part of that is winter. They have been trying to figure out movie snow in a lot of different ways for a long time. Silent era, it was cornflakes bleached white. That didn't fly once you brought sound in because you just have crunch everywhere all the time. And this is something that Capra himself was not a stranger to. In his film Lost Horizon, I think is the title of the film, which I really want to watch. They it's like a plane that crash lands basically in the Himalayas, and for that he really wanted to see the actor's breath, so all of the plane scenes they shot in a very large refrigerator box. It was really cold in there for them. They couldn't do that for this because it's 4 acres. So he begrudgingly left out the breath. They tried all sorts of things, though. Somebody in the studio had invented a little cage that goes in your mouth with a small piece of dry ice. And so when you breathe past that, it would exhale. But the problem is, then you're talking like this the whole time because you got something in the back of your throat.
So that's why Jimmy Stewart sounds like
That's why Jimmy Stewart sounds like that. Yes, that's where the famous drawl comes from.
He just kept that cage in his mouth. His whole career.
But this film actually won an Academy Award, a special Academy Award, for the special effects team who invented a new kind of snow, which was a mixture of water, soap, and foamite, which is part of the stuff that is in fire extinguishers. Cool. And that's most of what you see in the film. The stuff on the ground is a lot of, they call it gypsum, which is the shavings from marble quarries and such. And so they have a lot of that on the ground. They don't there is no asbestos. They aren't using asbestos at this point. People try to they talk about that a lot as an urban legend, but this isn't asbestos.
People just want old movies to have killed people. You
truly.
know?
Yeah, and there were plenty that did. We don't have to make that up,
everyone was
guys.
miserable, and they all got sick, and they all died.
Yep.
And I go, okay.
A lot of all the stuff that's on buildings and trees is just plaster. They're literally just throwing plaster on stuff.
So they would have had to shoot this basically in order, because I imagine if you're putting plaster on the roofs, you're gonna shoot the summer and the earlier stuff that's not in the winter first, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they filmed from April 15th to July 27th. And I can't find any specifics of what order they did, but I would imagine that would make a lot of sense because again, you're covering this stuff, and
you're not gonna,
it's gonna be a pain in the ass to do it again.
All that off.
Yeah, so they've got all of this snow, they've got all this stuff figured out. It's a Christmas movie, but all of these snow scenes were filmed in a record-breaking heat for the time, to the point that Capra gave everybody a day off in the middle because it just you need time to recover. That was an awful day of night shoots that are still 90 degrees in the shade. It's awful stuff.
Put your 4 acres in a refrigerator box.
Should have done it. Should have splurged. So most of this is artificial. However, there is one thing that people at the excuse me, sorry, I'm getting over a cold, folks. But one thing that people critics at the time were really down on as being, as they called it, Capricorn, just completely made up bullshit. A lot of critics really didn't like the swimming pool under the gymnasium. They're like, what are you talking about? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. It's a real high school. It's Beverly Hills High School.
I was going to say, that's a real thing.
It's in use today. It's still around,
The only thought that I had was, I just went, yeah, sure. But I was the water is just there and it's clean and it's fine.
I guess, yeah.
But I guess it is.
Yeah.
I did not question that at all.
Yeah.
I had more questions about the angel. I was that's unrealistic.
Hey, wait a second.
He comes down.
Mm-hmm. So funny. Let's see what else.
Capra
There's
Capricorn
like
is very
individual
funny.
scene
That's
stuff I
very
think I
funny.
can get to.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just appreciating people being mean to Frank Capra.
Just didn't like it.
It's pretty clever and good.
So yeah, the movie comes out and just kind of drops like a stone. Like
It came out in the summertime. It came out in July, didn't it?
Yeah. It's no, wait a second.
No, it didn't.
December
No, it
20th.
didn't.
December 20th, 1946.
Sorry, I'm thinking of Christmas in Connecticut, a movie that I was just researching and writing about for
I
a
see.
local magazine.
Yes.
So, okay, sorry.
No, December 20th. Yeah, so this movie comes out. It's liked enough, but just doesn't really go anywhere. It doesn't win for the stuff that it's nominated for, aside from that special award for the Specs team, and just kind of languishes in obscurity. It just kind of disappears for a while, and then with the advent of television, you have this huge buy-up of the rights of these movies, and that's where this thing gains new life. Like, it's the early days equivalent of what used to happen with rental movies, you know, where it just suddenly, like, gets a huge boom on home release. That's what television was for this.
Right.
Like, and then it becomes like the Macy's Thanksgiving Parade. It is just an annual thing,
Right.
and people
we
just
talked about
watch
this
it.
with The Wizard of Oz as well, right? Of, like, The Wizard of Oz was a bigger hit upon release, but, like, was basically kept alive by annual TV, you know, broadcasts that people would tune in for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
does the colorization come about for this thing?
I believe, I'm trying to see if I can find an exact date on it, but like I think that it is part of that push where what is his name? Something Turner. He buys up
Will Turner from
Will
Pirates of the
Turner,
Caribbean?
yes. He buys up all of these classic films and starts colorizing them. And
Right.
this is
just
it's
like
what
this one guy's.
it's
mission.
truly one of the things that gets the film registry going, actually, is that this mogul is buying up all of these movies, colorizing them because he thinks that will make it more appealing to modern audiences. And then you have, like, Jimmy Stewart, you know, they talk about it in the documentary. It's like Mr. Smith literally goes to Washington. He goes and speaks before Congress, and he's like, we need to preserve these movies in their original state. Like, we can't just let this one guy take over film history like this.
Right.
And so he's there. Capra shows up. Martin Scorsese shows up. Like, a bunch of people advocate to Congress to enact a film preservation bill, and that's where the registry comes from. So I would assume, because they mentioned this movie specifically in that documentary, I would guess it's during this run-up in the 80s, where Ted Turner, that's his name, Ted Turner
there
buys
you
up
go.
all of this shit and starts colorizing it.
Right.
And it look, I'm not here to, you know, yuck anybody's yum. You do whatever you want to do, but, like, who are you if your preferred version of this is the colorized one, where everybody has weird pasty skin tones?
But also those are it's the modern equivalent of that is those people who look at, like, the AI vertical version of films.
Yeah.
You know, and they go, this
yeah.
actually looks way more realistic to me.
Yeah, jeez.
And I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Monkey brain? Like,
what? Yes.
what are you talking about?
What are you saying right now?
You're like, oh, different, bigger, different, makes it look better. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean?
Ugh. Everybody go watch Be Kind Rewind's video about the Sphere, Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
Please go watch that video.
Yeah.
Oof. One thing I forgot to mention in here is that so this movie comes out in 1946, and the following year, like 6 months later, the FBI issues a memo stating that the film is basically communist propaganda. Like, it's like the FBI launches an investigation into this film and the filmmakers, because they're like, this doesn't feel very American.
Which, but also, I do just have to say this, it is wild to me how, like, arguably Frank Capra's two most popular films are not communist propaganda, but are very much, like, socialist. Like, we've all got to pitch in together, because, like, and we'll talk, spoiler alert, we'll talk about this next year with Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Because Capra's making that with, who's the writer of that? I want to say Buckman. I want to say that's
that sounds
the
right.
writer's last name. And Buckman was actually a card-carrying communist. But Capra basically was like, fuck your themes, fuck your idea of American democracy. It feels like you're communist. Like, this is a communist idea of America.
Yeah.
And he was like, he hated it. Like, he was like, he's like, fuck your themes. But he still made it, and I'm like, all right, very Capra. But then, like, for the fact that his film, his next, like, you know, what would go on to become his most popular and, like, most beloved film of all time was investigated by the FBI as Communist propaganda.
Their official statement is, quote, with regard to the picture, It's a Wonderful Life, redacted name, stated in substance that the film represented rather obvious attempts to discredit bankers by casting Lionel Barrymore as a Scrooge type so that he would be the most hated man in the picture. This, according to these sources, is a common trick used by communists. In addition, redacted name stated that, in his opinion, this picture deliberately maligned the upper class, attempting to show the people who had money were mean and despicable characters.
Oh, so it has nothing to do with the fact that this movie ends with everyone pooling their money together.
No, it has to be. It has to be that rich people are mean.
Well, you know what's wild about that, Parker, is that everyone in politics is Mr. Potter now.
Yeah.
At what
Dude,
point did we start electing
I'm not ready.
exclusively Mr. Potters?
I'm not ready for Mr. Smith Goes to Washington next year.
I know.
It's gonna
we'll get
hit.
through it.
Yeah.
But, like, here's the thing, right? Is, like, in this movie, there is a line in which Mr. Potter is like, you probably expect me to give money to these people who'd have never worked a day in their life, like these lazy lower-class people that could be middle class if they only, he's saying all that. And I'm like, really cool to watch this with SNAP benefits on the cutting block. Like, that's so cool.
Yeah, I love that we elected the cartoon villains, guys.
But
That's
like,
so great.
I was trying to remember. It's when we watched. It's when we watched Scrooge for this show, and I was like, everyone on the internet is Scrooge now.
Yes.
Like, all men on X. Like, X is just the Scrooge platform.
Yeah.
It's just Scrooges and Potters on there, just being like, you actually shouldn't talk to women at all. You actually should steal money from poor people, actually. That's the only way to be successful. And I'm like, what?
What are we doing,
are you
guys?
talking about?
What are we doing?
What are we doing?
Yeah,
If
it's
this
bonkers.
came out today, it wouldn't just be the FBI being like, this is communist propaganda. They would say that. They would say they would say it's a woke mind.
Yeah, the woke mind virus.
The woke left.
Yeah.
Anyway, but it's just like... anyway, sorry. Just had to quickly rant
I'm
about
glad.
all the Potters of the world. And I mean that in both popular Potter characters. God. Anyway, all right.
Yes. So I think that's a lot of my preamble. There's stuff that I'll mention as we go through the movie, but I think that's our history. That's where it gets its kind of accolades as time goes on.
Thank you very much, Parker.
Yes.
So it's Christmas Eve, 1945. And some stars are talking. Some galaxies are talking.
Yeah, because everybody's praying.
Everybody's praying for this one man. The one thing I didn't know about this movie when I saw it the first time was that it would open with galaxies as angels talking to each other, which I think is a lovely choice.
It's really good.
And just roots it in like a non-denominational version of this, which I don't think is intentional.
Yeah.
But like, it's nice that they aren't like they're getting their wings, and obviously like it's about prayer. But I don't know, for me it's like praying and then the stars answer. I'm like, oh, I like that a lot.
There's a very interesting, and I'm positive people have already written about this, but like the counterpoint comparisons between this movie's depiction of the divine and A Matter of Life and Death made the same year in England.
It's the same year.
It's the same year. Yeah. 46 was a great year for weird cosmic stories about, hey, you should be dead, or maybe you should be alive.
It's A Matter of Life and Death is basically like, it's bureaucracy up there, right? Like, they're like, there's office people.
Yes, we're going to have a trial.
We're going to have a trial, and that's how it works. And over in America, we're like, oh, the stars.
The stars, man.
They send down a funny little guy.
Yeah. I do find it interesting just jumping from The Greatest Gift to this, that like The Greatest Gift keeps it very vague who this guy is, and this one's like angels. Like this is divine intervention.
Angel. You're an angel now.
You're an angel now. Yeah, and so it's just interesting. Do you? I should have asked. Do you want to do the summary? Do you want me to do the summary?
I think we just trade off.
Great.
Whoever gets there first.
Yeah.
Sort of a Jimmy Taco situation.
That's nice. I like that.
So you know, Joseph is like bringing in Clarence, and this little tiny star comes in, and he's like, "What? He's a silly little guy." And
He's reading Mark
they're
Twain.
like, yeah, and they're like, you know, you're gonna save George, so we're gonna tell you about George.
Yep. And he's like, I love the line where it's like, oh, this is his crucial night. Yes, I've only an hour to dress. What are they wearing these days? You'll spend that hour getting to know George Bailey.
Right. Yeah. Well, and then later when he arrives, he's like, "Sorry about this underwear. It's a little outdated. I was buried in it." Like he's like, and like I like that as like I didn't really have time to get dressed.
I'm sorry. I was doing research
rushed.
on you. I was rushed.
I didn't have time to pick out modern underwear.
But what's so interesting to me about this framing device is that, like, if you ask people what this movie is about, like, the logline elevator pitch blurb is like, yeah, a dude sees what life would be like without him. That's the last 20 minutes of this movie.
Yeah, it's the last 20 minutes.
Like, it's like everything else is just, we're just watching his life with surprisingly little interjection from Clarence in the framing device.
Yeah, there's, like, only a few things.
Yeah. Like, it's kind of, you almost forget that that's even happening, and then you get to the end and you said, oh yeah, like I forgot that this was the framing device, because it lets you live in the rest of the movie being told to you in sequence.
Yeah. No, I mean it's it's kind of a perfect amount of that, I think. And again, it's just nice that we don't have to like cut back to like pearly gates and like looking at a mirror or something. You know?
Yeah,
like,
I like the simplicity of it quite a bit.
We can just keep it very simple. Because that is a wild framing device to just launch into.
Yeah.
A man is contemplating suicide. Everyone's worried about him. We're sending an angel. But first, we gotta hear his entire whole life.
Yeah.
What if every music biopic had this framing device instead? I think it would go over better. Instead of them, they're like, I'm thinking about my life. It's like, no. We're sending an angel. So we pick up with the 12-year-old George. Rescues his younger brother.
Yep.
Drowning. Sort of a Joe March moment.
Yes.
Shout out Joe March. Little Women. Christmas. I don't know. What was I talking about? Whatever. I was trying to be like, we're having a... Whatever, man. And then we go to George's job as a 12-year-old.
Yes.
At Mr... Working a job when you're 12.
Yeah.
You know, it was a different time. We just have to remember it was a different time.
It's a different time.
But he works for Mr. Gower, who apparently lives forever, even though he looks
eternal
so old and fragile when George is 12.
Yeah.
And then he's like there.
They make him nice and healthy when we see him again in his adulthood. You know, it's just he's having a really bad day. It's
true. Yeah. I guess if someone saw me on my worst day, they might be like, I don't know, is this person going to make it? You know, just a little concerned. But that is very sad. You know, his son died in the war.
Yep.
And it's World War One.
Yeah. World War One. I like something that I love about this first scene is that we very quickly establish like three distinct things about George. You know, well, we've already known that like he is like he's a kid. He's teasing his brother when they're at the pond, but like the second he's in trouble, like no hesitation, he jumps in after him, right? Like isn't reaching for him, isn't trying to stay safe, like goes in and then gets other people to help get him out, right?
Right.
But this scene with Gower, we get three things very quickly. We get that George is someone who is kind of mean. He's kind of a stinker. Like he's not very nice to marry. You know, he's like,
or Violet.
Yeah, he's like, say brainless. You don't know where coconuts come from?
Help me down.
Help you down. Yeah, like he's just, and again, like you kind of you play it off that he is a kid, right?
Yes.
But it's something that shows up later is like people get so wrapped up in this idea of this movie, right? Like this becomes so codified in culture that it becomes so abstracted. And I think oftentimes people are like, George Bailey is such a good person that the angels came down to save him. It's like, he is, but he's also a human being. Like, I like the fact that George isn't a saint in this movie.
Right.
He's mean to people sometimes. Stuff gets on his nerves. He gets overwhelmed. He lashes out at people.
It's not like like, okay, skipping ahead a little bit, when Harry's like, oh, Ruth's dad gave me a job, it's not like he's immediately like, great, that's awesome. Like, he has to
sit with that.
He has to sit with that for a second, you know? And eventually he will do the right thing, because that's what he's going to do. But he's all, like you're saying, he's a human being. Like,
and
he's going to be a little miffed about it.
Yes. And so, like, that's the first thing we establish, is that even though he's a kid, like, we know that George has a bit of an edge to him sometimes. Yeah. The second thing we establish is that family is very important to him. And so, like, you know, he notices something's wrong with Mr. Gower. He sees the sign, you know, have a question, go ask Dad. And he's like, yeah, I need to go ask my dad. He goes and finds his dad. We see Mr. Potter. And then when we go back again, like, George, the third thing we establish is that George is kind. George is thoughtful, and he is kind. And even when faced with outside pressure, he's going to do what he can to do the right thing. He's not going to take the pills because he knows there's something wrong with the pills. He knows they're poison.
Right.
But he's a kid, so he doesn't, you know, it's tough for him to have that conversation with Gower. And just, I think that this first real sequence in the movie does a lot of the heavy lifting for George as a character. And the button on it is really lovely. I think that, like, you kind of miss it if you aren't listening for it, but he comes back, Gower's drunk and he's upset, and he slaps him around. He hits his sore ear and he starts bleeding. And, you know, George is begging with him to, like, he's like, you made a mistake. You did, like, it's poison. And Gower realizes what he's done, drops to his knees, he just holds George. He's like, George, I'm so sorry. And in the middle of that exchange, he says, I'll never tell anyone, Mr. Gower. Like, hope to die, I'll never tell anyone. And then Clarence follows up on it later, and he's like, did he ever tell him? He said, never again. Like, he never did. And it's like, it just, I think it's very efficient characterization of who George is, what his values are, and, like, that he is, you know, true to his word in this way. It also establishes Mary's infatuation with him, which I've got lots to say about Mary. We're going to get there, but I have lots to say about Mary. But this scene does a great job of setting it up of, you know, is this the ear you can't hear in? George Bailey, I'll love you to the day I die.
Yeah. Which, like, I don't know. Is it a little oversimplistic of, like, well, Violet has always been this, and Mary has always been this, and, like, a little bit there, like, yeah, but also no, because I think we will talk about Mary. I think Mary breaks out of that, and Violet does too, to an extent, obviously. Right. But, like, I don't know. Maybe it's just, like, the boomerized world we've lived in for so long that when I'm like, fair. Yes, there's, like, and there's the young girl who's like, I'm in love with you, and he's like, I'm mean to you. Go, you know, and I'm like, all right. But, like, sure, knowing the movie, I'm not mad at the movie. Yeah. It's just, like, I think I just tend to tense up anytime I see anything that, like, presents that kind of classical.
I think part of what makes it scan for me okay here is that this feels like an American Fable to me. Like, it has a lot of the juice that Night of the Hunter does, where I'm like, this is fairy tale land. You know, this is a moralistic fable we are telling to you. And so we're going to be painting with a broader brushstroke. And I think that's something that kind of, like, lets me skirt through it a little bit more, because if this was played, like, if there was no angel in this movie, I would agree. I'm like, this feels a little, like, on the nose, you know? But it's like, there's an angel in this movie. What do you want?
No, yeah, for sure.
But I not to discount your point, but just,
and again, it's not like a criticism of the movie. I'm just like, you know, it's just something that I'm like, and you know. Yeah. That's also here. But again, like, Mary as a character, I think kind of breaks out of that. Yep. The minute she's an adult.
Yeah, I think so.
But what we also get here is, like, George, the reason that George is mad at her for not liking coconuts is because he's like, do you know where they come from? Yeah. And then we quickly get, like, he loves the idea of travel. He loves the idea of travel. He loves the idea of the world. Yeah. I do think this movie would be 100% better if, when he sees Mary's life without him, the main thing that happened is that she just never learned to like coconut.
That's good. Yeah, like, that's the thing that breaks him.
We just see a scene where she's like, and I've never tried coconut. I never will. And he's like, oh, Mary, you know, he's like, Clarence, I want to go back.
That's really good. That's very, very funny. Then we jump forward, and now we're George is an adult.
Yes.
And it's
Well, then we
the
have to
classic
pause.
Hollywood thing where it's like,
Oh, we do pause and we go, do you know that face?
yes, the
No,
freeze
who is
frame
it?
is so good.
That's George.
It's a good
Oh,
face.
yeah,
I
it's got a
like
good
it.
face. All right, Clarence. All right,
Okay,
hey, steady on, Clarence. You're working.
Steady on, Clarence. So now we skip forward. And it's that classic Hollywood thing where, like, we're jumping literal decades in this movie, but it's always going to be Jimmy Stewart, and he's always going to look pretty much the same. Like,
Yeah.
I was watching with Ellie, and his brother's getting ready for the party. I'm like, ah, yes, the 37-year-old high school senior.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we meet George.
It's the thing that Little Women works off of too, that we just
Yes.
talked about, right?
Yeah.
Of like, you just go,
Just go with it, man. Just go with
whatever,
it.
man.
George is getting this big briefcase for his travels. Mr. Gower gets him for him. We see Mr. Gower's doing a lot better now. His shop is filled with kids, ton of youngsters.
Right.
It's implied that George is going to be like, he has a trip planned. Like, he's going to go to college and then he's going to go somewhere else. And his family are all excited for him. We go to a dinner scene. He's talking with his dad as his brother's getting ready for this high school party. And he's like, George, you should come with me. He's like, oh, there's a bunch of kids. I don't want to go to that.
There it is.
Yep. Harry leaves, and he has a conversation with his dad.
It's a very interesting scene. Mm-hmm. Because it's a very real conversation in a movie that up to that point has been very, like you're saying, American myth.
Yeah.
You know? Mm-hmm. And even, like, Annie being present is interesting.
Yeah, Annie's presence is so interesting as well, of just, again, like, being of the time. It's like, yeah, they have a live-in maid, and she's black, and that's the culture of the time, you know?
Yeah. But also, it's not like she just has to stand there silently either.
Like, they give her things to do, which I like.
Yeah.
Like, I like her being a character.
Her appearance at the end is joyful. Like,
yes. Yeah.
When she comes in at the end, I'm so thrilled. But, like, yeah, it is kind of weird. There's, like, a few scenes in this movie
Lillian Randolph is her name.
Lovely.
Yes, she's great. Yeah.
But there are a few scenes in this movie, like when they get Harry from the train with Ruth, and like the usher or conductor is black as well, and he just is standing back there with like a smile on. I do just like hone in on these actors so often in these old movies. Again, not this movie's fault, but I do just like hone in on like anytime there's just like a black actor on screen, and I'm just like truly just set dressing. Like, and that's only because that's like the only role that they could get was either like service or just being there,
because like Annie is like, I like that she has things to do, I like that she has interaction, but like it's an Aunt Jemima, like it's got a lot of that to it. But I still find the fact that none of these characters talk down to her helps a lot,
Yes.
Like
again,
people are nice to her.
The way that George interacts with her is, it's not like he's being so nice to her, but also it doesn't feel mean-spirited. It's like, no, he knows her. Yeah. And he's like joking with her because he knows her. And like the button on that scene being like, did you get all that, Annie? And she's like, I heard enough, like.
Yeah. I heard it. About time one of you two lunkheads said it.
Yeah, it's like, that's.
Yeah.
There's like a nice
fun
rapport that's present.
Yes,
that
rapport is a good word for
feels a little more dignified than just if there's a worse version of it. I should say.
Yeah. So he's sitting down talking with his dad, and they get talking about his plans, and he's like, well, it's maybe it's a far flung hope, but like, would you ever consider staying here and keep working at the building alone? And Jimmy Stewart's got this great monologue in there where he's like, look, like if I spent the rest of my life in this shabby little office, and he's like, I'm sorry, Dad, like I didn't mean to, I'm not trying to say, like, be disparaging towards you. He's like, but I'd go crazy. Like I would, if I just spent my life just like hoarding pennies like a miser and, stressing over how to get, 5 cents on a length of pipe, like I'd go nuts. And he's like, I just got to get out. Like there's things I want to do. And his dad is very supportive of that, which I love.
He understands it.
Yeah, he's like, I get that. He's like, I understand. And he's like, you shouldn't be here. He's like, this is no town for any man who doesn't want to crawl to Potter.
Yes.
And he's like, get yourself an education and get out of here.
Yeah.
And the lovely little button of, Dad, you want to hear a real shock? I think you're a swell guy.
Yep.
You know, and it's just, it's nice. It's
Love,
it's a very lovely moment, especially in context that this is the last conversation they ever have.
Yeah.
You know,
absolutely.
Like it really, it hits hard. And something about that conversation, I've always found this interesting. Something about that changes George's mind about the party. He's like, actually, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go head over Harry's party, Dad.
Yeah.
And so he heads off. It does make me laugh in context of thinking about him being there and Sam showing up. I'm like, you goddamn super seniors, what are you doing here? Go home.
Well, Sam has a really interesting line. Well, okay, no. Sam shows up there.
Yeah.
And he's like, I thought I'd give these kids a shock. And it's I think you are.
I think you are.
Why are you here?
Why are you here, Sam?
And then when Mary's older brother comes over and is like, do you remember my kid sister? George says, he's like, oh, I already feel weird being here.
He's like, I already feel strange enough with all these kids. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, oh, that's, like, I wasn't expecting that line. Because, you know, this time you're just kind of like, yeah, you're just going out with the high schoolers, whatever. But, like, I like that George goes, mainly because Harry invited him, I think.
Yeah.
Like, in, like, whatever conversation with his dad, I don't think he's like, wow, I'm going to go and try and get some. You know, it's not like he's doing that.
No, he's just like, I'm just going to go, like, he invited me. It's a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
Like, the adults are all very happy to see me. He has a rapport with the principal of the school.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. So
Violet's there, and I don't think Violet's in high school anymore.
Right. I think it's probably just like, you know, it's like in a small town, people would just go to
they
things,
just hang out and do things. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. But it is, especially Sam being there, because he's like, college grad, and I'm like, Sam, you're too old for this.
Sam, what are you doing here?
Sam, you're like 22,
but like,
man.
he makes mention to Harry, he's like, hey, Coach sent me down here, like, to talk to you.
Yes, you're right. That's what I was forgetting. Because then he says, that's the main reason I'm here, is like to see, like, will you come
You're going to come with us. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's like plausible
There's plausible deniability there.
And again, I like that George is like, I feel weird with all these kids. Mm-hmm. And then he sees Mary, and they have their West Side Story moment.
I love Mary's reaction. I love what Donna Reed does with this first intro shot of just Donna like Reed, the snap to she has.
An MVP in this movie.
She's incredible.
She's really good.
Like, I really can't say enough for Donna Reed's performance in this. They have their meet cute. The guy she's talking to is the original Alfalfa from our gang, which is kind of fun.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah, that's just a grown-up Alfalfa, which is really good.
He looks like that.
He looks like that.
I guess that makes sense. I love the strange, like, Dick Tracy, like, what's his name, like Big Top, whatever that like big brow guy is. The guy who comes over to Alfalfa and is like, did you know there's a swimming pool under the gymnasium? And did you know that I happen to have a key? Mm-hmm. And if you'd use that key or that button, you know, behind you.
Like, why does this guy hate George Bailey? What's this about?
Well, he just feels like a villain. Like, he just
truly
enters the scene, and I'm like, you look like he's
Who
like...
are you?
It's like he's scheming. I'm like, I don't know.
What's that?
Just, well, every town has one of those guys, I guess.
I guess so.
But then it's lovely. Also, their little dance where he's like, I can't, Charles, I'm terrible at this.
Yeah.
And she's like, me too. And then
they're killing it. I love that, like, it cuts back and forth between different couples, and we cut back at one point, and Jimmy Stewart is just doing, like, the knee wobble move, and he's killing it. Just, looking great. It's really good. Another little moment that I love in this is just the line delivery of, they're Charlestoning as the floor is opening, and everybody else sees it, but they don't. And as they get close to the edge, people scream and shout
and cheer.
And he goes, "Wow, we must be pretty good." It's really good. I like it a lot.
They fall in. They're immediately still dancing in the water, which is great. And then everyone else jumps in.
Everybody else goes.
It's a lovely romantic scene.
It's really fun. It's very nice. It's a good party.
A great party. Mm-hmm. Oh man.
Yeah.
I wonder if that's what starts, like, I feel like there's like a high school movie thing of like, we're all gonna jump in the pool in our gowns.
Yeah.
Maybe that's not a thing. Maybe I'm making that up, but it feels like it could start here if that is a thing.
Could be.
Lovely. And then you get, probably the best scene in any movie.
Very well might be.
Sorry, the exposition in this movie is handled so deftly as well. Like, they're wearing these athletic, whatever. Like, he's wearing athletic gear, she's wearing a robe. And like, the way he's like, I had to fight someone off to get this stuff out of the locker room or whatever. Like, it feels very natural.
Yeah, I do like it a lot.
Yeah. All right, I'm sure you have a lot to say about this.
They have this wonderful walk home, and it's like, you know, they're talking about life and their experiences. Every time I watch it, it's always funny watching people. You know, he's like, "Say, how old are you now?" And she's like, 18. He's like, 18? Only last year you were 17. She says, too young or too old. And everybody in the room goes, and he's like, no, just right. Your age suits you. And I'm like, whew, you made it through, George. Okay. It's just really funny.
Yeah.
But, you know, they have their cute rapport. There's, you know, some flirtation going on between the two of them. And I can't remember exactly how they get to the topic, but he starts telling her about his plans. Because they walk by the old Granville place, and he's like, let's throw a rock in the old Granville place. And she's like, no, George, like, I love that house. Like, I want to live in it. And that's what it is. He's like, he just says, live in it? I wouldn't live in it as a ghost. So he's like, watch this. And he breaks a window. And she's like, what'd you wish for? He's like, oh, not one wish, like a whole hat full of wishes. And he's like, Mary, I know what I'm doing tomorrow and the next day and the day after that. I'm shaking the dust of this crummy town off my feet, and I'm going to see the world. And he's going on and on about this. And I love this shot where, like, he's in profile, kind of half turned away from camera. And her smile fades as he's talking about all of this. He's going to see the world and build these bridges and do all this stuff. And she leans down, she grabs a rock. And he's like, you going to throw a rock? And she chucks it. And what's really funny about the production of this is that they had hired someone to throw the rock for Donna Reed, because they're like, oh, well, like, you know, she's a woman. And Donna Reed was like a prolific baseball player in high school and hadn't told anybody. And so in one take, she just knocked that window out with that rock, and everybody's like, whoa, okay.
Wow.
Which I really love.
Sort of a Sigourney Weaver in an Alien Resurrection moment.
Yeah. And George asks her what she wished for.
That's really neat.
It's really cool, right?
That.
He asks her what she wished for, and she won't tell him. She just starts singing Buffalo Gals. Maybe my favorite.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Sorry. What I like about this scene is that it feels like what we talked about with When Harry Met Sally. Of like, it would be so easy for this movie to just be like, he wins all the time, and she watches in awe. Right? Yeah. Like, he wins all the banter, he wins all the conversations, all the arguments. But I feel like this movie, like, it would be so easy for them to do that, but I feel like Mary does get a good chunk of stuff to do in response to things, right? Yeah. Like, she can play coy, she can, you know, and then later when she's back from college, like, that's when it really, like, she has some leverage in this.
Well, it's like, I'll bring it up now, and then I'll hit the regular point later. Everybody should go read the article, There Is No Mary Problem and It's a Wonderful Life by Claire Coffey on The Bulwark. It was written back in 2022. It's wonderful. It's so good. It is a really great reclamation of this character, which we'll get into at the end of the movie. There's a very specific scene that people point to as a huge ding against this movie, a huge ding against this character. And people talk about it as the Mary problem. And this article is very adamant, being like, that doesn't exist, and here's why. And one of the reasons they talk about is what you're mentioning here. Mary chooses George. Yeah. George doesn't choose Mary. Mary pursues George. She is actively, like, the leading force behind this romance. You know, she is not passive in any part of this movie. And I think people forget that because of the scene that happens at the end.
Yes.
You know, and that just takes over everything, and you have to look back. It's like, no, like,
that's been the case since they were kids. We see that in the kids scene.
Exactly. Like, and that's why I brought that up earlier. It's like, she is, even if it is the archetypical, stereotypical version of this kind of boomer Americana love story, she is actively pursuing him and has been since they were children, you know? Yeah. And I like that about her.
And she plays it really well, like you said, when she sees him at the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just really great. It's just Donna Reed. She's wonderful. Like, I can't imagine anyone else in this role. This does have my favorite line delivery in the movie. They're singing Buffalo Gals, and they get to the end, and George goes, "And dance by the light of the moon. What'd you wish for when you threw that rock?"
Yeah, it's
like, that's such a modern line delivery. Like,
it is.
That's a joke we would make.
Yeah,
it is. Like, it's really good.
It's a reminder that people have always been people, and people talked like people. You know,
people act like people.
It just so happens that it used to be that you would write dialogue for films that wasn't super realistic and natural.
Yeah.
But I think people have always just talked like this.
People always talk like this. Ask her what she wished for. She won't tell him. And he says, well, what do you want, Mary? You want the moon? I'll throw a lasso around and I'll bring it down for you. He has this lovely little speech to her about giving her the moon and all this stuff. And it's very heartfelt and romantic. It's the scene on the poster behind me.
It is.
Is them just talking to each other. He gets to and says, am I talking too much? And there's a neighbor who goes, yes! It's this man on the porch. He says, why did you kiss her instead of talking her to death?
My friend Allie pointed out that the way that it cuts, she's watched this every year since she was a kid, and every time it cuts to that neighbor, when she was a kid, she thought he lived in the old house.
That's really
because
funny.
we don't really get like an establishing.
Yeah,
of
we don't
his
see
house.
his house. Yeah,
So
that's true.
Because the
That's
first
a
time
very
we
good
see him is
point.
when they throw a rock through the window, and then he like looks up from his newspaper.
It's like, what the hell?
I just think the idea of this man being in that house is funny.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. And then he's like, kiss her. Oh, you just wasted on the wrong people.
It's really
Runs
good.
away.
George is gonna again, because George is kind of hot-headed, he starts trying to get in a fight with this guy, and Mary goes to run away. She's like, no, I don't want to deal with this. And he's stepping on her robe, and it just comes right off.
It is, it is really funny that she's just gone.
Yeah.
And like the way that he's like,
He looks under it. Like every time, Ellie and I have watched this for 2 years now, and Ellie's like, George, she didn't bend Kenobi. What are you doing?
that's wild. Allie's brother, Allie leaned over and told me that her brother would always go, she Ben Kenobi'd.
That's so good. That's
So,
really funny. Yeah.
That is the move. Could be the move.
She's sitting in the bush. And again, like there's something, and we'll talk about this with another scene later. I think that sometimes modern sensibilities are afraid of like mutual flirtation. You know, it's the whole baby it's cold outside argument that comes up every single year.
It really
where it's like,
is.
you guys don't know what foreplay is. You don't you
don't
don't understand
that when she's saying all of that so that she can stay longer.
Right. And so this
like
scene
she
like
wants to stay.
Yes. And this scene with the bush, like I've watched this in classes sometimes, and sometimes people really don't like this scene because like this feels very manipulative and awful of George to like not give her clothes. Like that's non-consensual. It's like, look, like it's she's in no danger here. Like he's obviously he's not just gonna be like, you have to walk out here naked so I can see you. Like they're flirting. You know, like it is okay. Like I don't think that this film, like I don't think this scene has the sinister edge that some people try to give it.
Again, some people just want movies to be miserable. They want old movies to be miserable.
Yeah.
They want them to be wrong. So that progress could have happened.
Right.
And I go, right, but we can have progress without tearing down things that are actually fine.
Yep. Because like his deliveries are so playful and fun here. He's just like, I've read about things like this in books, but I've never thought it would happen to me.
Yeah. Could sell tickets.
I'll tell your mother. She's way over on the other side of town.
Yeah. It's funny.
It's
He's
funny.
being funny.
It's funny, but it gets cut short as
his dad died.
Uncle Billy and his brother show up, and he's like, your dad's had a stroke.
Yeah.
And so he runs off. He's like, Mary, I'm sorry, I've got to go.
Yeah, but also the minute they pull up and say your dad's had a stroke, he
gives
puts
it back.
The robe
Like
on
he
the
just
bush.
puts it. Yeah, he puts the robe on the bush.
Game over.
Yeah.
And it's only as they're driving away that he's like, Mary, I'm so sorry.
Yes.
You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah,
And
that's a
then
good
she
detail. Thank you
rises
for
out of
pointing
the
that
bush,
out.
watching after him.
Yep. And then we cut forward some months, and his father has died. They are settling his affairs, trying to get things figured out with the building loan. Potter is now on the board, which his dad made mention at the dinner. He's like, I thought putting Potter on the board would make him ease up on us a little. It hasn't.
Yeah.
So now Potter has a vested interest in the building loan.
Yeah.
And gets into a heated argument and is basically just slandering George's dead father and just saying he's just like, yeah, he was not a businessman. Like he knew nothing about any of this. Like, what do we have here? We have a lazy rabble instead of a thrifty working class. Like that's his whole thing. He's like, these people need to push, pick themselves up by their own bootstraps. Like this loan was denied by the bank, but he comes here and he gets money because he's a friend of, you shoot pool with some employee here, right? Like he's just going off on these guys, and he makes a motion to like liquidate the whole thing. He's like, let's just sell off all the assets of this. Let's just kill it.
Yeah, he's kind of doing like a David Zaslav kind of thing.
Yeah, kind of like a David Zaslav.
He's hoping to sell Building and Loan to Netflix.
Exactly. And so they're going to have a vote, and they ask they ask Uncle Billy and George to leave so that the boards can have a vote. And George is like, they say like, hey, you've missed the first few weeks of college. He gave up his trip to Europe for this. But like, George, like, you need to go now. Like, there's a train. He's like, yes, I need to leave. And he's gathering his papers, and Potter's just going off on his dad. And he won't stand for it. We saw that when he was a kid, when he walks in to talk to his dad, and Potter's going after him. And he's like, you can't say that to him. You're a bigger man than him, all this stuff. And that character trait is still there. And he stands up to him, and he gives him this great monologue of, talking about, like, it hits me every year so hard in the worst way, where he says, do you know how long it takes a working man to save $5,000? And I go, nothing's changed. Nothing's changed. But he just goes off on him, and he says, in the grant, he's like, in my book, you're nothing more than a scurvy little spider. He's like, my father died a much richer man than you'll ever be. And he says, I've said too much, but you guys are the boards. You do with this thing what you want, but like, know that this town needs this institution just so that people don't have a place to go to Potter. He's like, because the rabble you're talking about, Mr. Potter, they do most of the working and living and breathing and dying in this community. Is it too much to ask that they work and live and breathe and die in a decent, 4 walls and a fireplace?
Yeah.
It's just great. Like, I think it's a really good little manifesto against the capitalists, and probably piss the FBI off a lot.
Absolutely.
They walk out.
And maybe Frank Capra.
And maybe Frank Capra. They walk out, and George is going to go. President of the board walks out. He's like, they voted him down. We're keeping it going. And this is the best part. One condition. And this is the best part. They've appointed George to be executive secretary. You're going to run the whole thing. And he's like, no, you don't, like, listen to me. I'm going to school. Like, this is my last chance. I have to go. Uncle Billy, he's your man. They say, but George, they'll vote with Potter if you leave. And he stops. And then we come back to the framing device for a minute. And Clarence goes, I know. He didn't leave. Like, already Clarence knows this guy to a T. He's like, yeah, of course he didn't leave. Like, when the chips are down, he's gonna do this because the community needs it.
Yeah. And they also mentioned that George gave his tuition savings to Harry.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Understanding that Harry will take over the company.
Yeah. Harry went to school. George got 4 years older, waiting for him to come back.
Yeah. Harry returns. He's married, and Ruth's dad gave him a job.
Yep.
And
to Harry's credit, he's like, hey, Ruth spoke out of turn. I never said I would take it. Like, you've been holding the bag. Like, I'm not going to let you down.
Yeah. But before they can really have that conversation, he gets pulled away to go get the luggage.
Mm-hmm.
And then George goes
to talk to Ruth.
Yes. He asks Ruth, like, what kind of job is this? I'm only half-assing it. I'm really not going to try. But she's like, oh, yeah, it's not great. Like, it won't pay. Because it would be so much easier for this movie if it was just like, he's going to get so much money.
Yeah.
But what's great is that she's like, it's not going to pay a lot.
It's not much money, but it's good future.
It's a good future. Mm-hmm. And George basically from that point on is like he's not from that point is he like great. Because he's pretty
bummed
the whole rest of the night.
Yeah.
But
he's kind of accepted his fate.
He accepts it, right? Yeah. But I like that because, again, like, my instinct is like, well, and of course, like, Harry's job is going to be really great. It's like, no, it's not great.
No,
it works out eventually, especially with the war.
Yeah.
But, like, it's not that. Like, it's not that simple,
Yeah.
And so he's at the party. He kisses his mom on the lips twice, which I think this movie should be canceled for. But, he has this conversation with his mom.
First off, Uncle Billy leaves the party in a drunken stupor.
Right. And there's a story behind this.
Yeah, and he walks off screen, and we hear this huge cacophony of crashes. It sounds like Uncle Billy has just knocked over several trash cans. What actually happened was that a stagehand knocked over a big thing of props, and they all shattered. And Jimmy Stewart, like, looks offset, and, the actor playing Uncle Billy, whose name, Thomas Mitchell, he instantaneously picks it up and goes, I'm all right. And this poor guy thinks he's going to be fired, but instead, Frank Capra pays him $10 as a bonus for enhancing the scene.
Lovely.
Which is really cute and very fun. But back to this conversation with his mom.
Yeah, so his mom comes out, and then remind me again, like, she comes out and she's like, because she doesn't start with Mary. They're talking about
they're talking about Ruth and what he thinks of Ruth, and she's like, now what's the problem? Like, what's got you in a sourpuss? And she's like, she'll certainly keep Harry on his toes. Just keep her out of Bedford Falls anyway. And then she veers the direction to Mary because she's like, well, maybe Bedford Falls ain't so bad.
Did you know that Mary Hatch is back from school? And he's like, oh, well, she's going with Sam.
Yeah.
And she's like, she's not crazy about him.
She says, why? She discussed it with you? I have eyes, don't I?
Yeah.
It's really good.
And Sam's been in New York.
Yes.
Because she also says, she's like, Sam's in New York and you're here. And so he's like, well, point me in the direction, whatever. And she like points him in the direction, and then he goes the other way.
He goes the other way.
Runs
into Violet.
Yes.
Another great one line. Like I love actors in movies who have one line and then leave. I'm a big fan of the "we'll wait for you, baby" guy. Yeah. I think he's nice.
I leaned over to Allie and I was like, those guys are going to challengers with her later. Like, those two guys are like, we will wait for you.
That's good.
And I'm like, that's good for them.
Yeah, good for them.
Good for them. She goes over to him and this is where she's like, what are you doing? And he's like, oh, you know what we could do? And then he just lists
hike Mount
off
Bedford.
Like the most absurd list of like George things to do. Of like, let's go barefoot in the mountains. Yeah. Let's go look at the waterfall. And we'll go, And she's like, I like that the one she takes the most umbrage with is just she's like, walk barefoot through the grass.
Yeah.
Like,
crowd is gathered. They all laugh at him, and he's dejected.
Yeah, a crowd has.
It's crazy. A crowd.
They
stops
cut to a wide, and there's like 13 to 15 people around just laughing, and I'm like, whoa,
that's crazy. It's nuts.
And they're standing on like a median. It's not like they're on the sidewalk. They're like on a grass median in the middle of the road, and all these people crossed over to hear what they were saying.
It's nuts.
It's great. Anyway, he walks away and he ends up at Mary's house. This is where I feel like you really get a sense of the town that they built.
Yes.
Because the house is like she's up in this window looking down at him, and then when she steps away from the window to come down, it feels like a reasonable amount of time before we cut back inside and she's coming down the stairs. She's had this all figured out.
Yeah,
again,
like your mother telephoned.
Speaking to your point. Yeah, but she puts up the portrait, like the George Last of the Moon, puts on the record.
Yes.
And then throws open, and I love that shot so much of her throwing open the door, of her away from camera in the foreground, and we could just get George out there. Like, it's all there, It's not like it's rear projection or anything. Not that it would be. I like that as, like, the 40s version of, well, they did it practical.
Yeah.
Well, there's no special, they didn't do, like, rear projection or anything.
It's a real house, guys.
They really did that. Throwing the stick, coming up. He's just pissed. He's like, I didn't tell anyone I was coming here. Because he's like, who told you I was coming? He's like, your mother phoned and told me you were coming. He's like, well, that's weird. I wasn't going to come.
I didn't tell anyone I was coming. Yeah.
Yeah. Comes in, sits down. It's a great scene.
It's a really
he's
great
making
scene.
violent love to me, mother. Is like, you can say that?
You can say that?
You can say that?
The Hays Code allowed
the Hays Code
that?
was like, that's allowed.
That's nuts. But again, this scene does such a great job of showing her characterization too, of like, she's not just a hemming and hawing damsel, No. Like, when it stops going, like when it's clearly not going the way she wants and he's just being a dick, she throws it back at him. Like, they can go tit for tat, It's like, George Bailey, what does he want? I don't know. What do you want? Nothing. I came in to get warm. He's making violent love to me, mother.
But also, I like he's also saying that in such a dickish way too. He's like, me, I don't want anything. I just came in here to get warm. Like, he's pissed.
He's in a really bad mood and he's taking it out on Mary, and she's not gonna stand for it. Like, that's the thing, is that like she is not, like, she's upset and sad when he leaves, but like she gets angry too, and I like that about Mary, that they argue. And he's like, what is this? Like, I didn't come over here. She's like, why did you come over here, huh? Like, they get in. He's like, I don't know. You're supposed to have all the answers, according to my mom. You tell me.
Yeah. I like that he doesn't say according to. He just says, you're supposed to have all the answers. And I love that it's like, well, yeah, because his mom just said that she would. Yeah,
she's someone who could help you find the answers. Yep.
Which I just relate to. Like, your mom tells you to do something, and you're, like, pissed while you do it, but you know that she's right. You're like,
Right. He storms out. She breaks the record. And her mom's
Sam
like,
calls.
Sam Wainwright on the phone.
Yeah.
And I love, again, this thing she puts on. She's so huffy. She gets to the phone, she's like, hello. And he walks back in. He's like, I forgot my hat. And she just immediately like, hee-haw, Sam, how
Yes.
are you? It's really good. Like,
And to keep him there, she's like, he wants to talk to you.
yeah.
And her mom is like, he doesn't want to talk to George.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does.
Her mom is so funny. I love the mom. The mom
really
cracks
funny.
me up.
Yeah.
So this scene, Jimmy Stewart was really, really nervous about it and like kept pushing it back in the schedule. Like they had a day to do it, and then he would make up some excuse and he would tell
With the phone?
Yeah. He'd tell Frank, he's like, do something else. Like just to do something else. I can't do it today. And his reasoning for this was that he was serving in the military this whole time. He was a pilot. And he said that he felt he was rusty. He was like, I don't know that I can do a scene like this right now because he's like, I'm out of practice. I'm out of practice doing something so intimate like this. And he kept putting it off and kept putting it off. And finally Capra's like, we have to shoot this thing and we have to do it now. And so they shoot the phone scene and they have 2 cameras set up. They have the one of them straight on, and then they have Mary's kind of like over the shoulder that they get. And they do this in one take. They they ran the cameras. They did it, and then they get to the end of it, and the script. Everybody's in awe. They're like, "Wow, that's so good." And Capra's like, "Hey, is we good? Can we move on?" And the script supervisor's like, "Yeah, it was good, but they skipped a whole page of dialogue." And he said, "With chemistry like that, who needs dialogue? Print it."
Yeah. It's very tense. Watching it with an audience in theaters is fun because we know. It's wonderful. We know what it is, but you are just kind of on the edge of your seat watching them.
I think that this scene, despite not having this particular element in it, it has all of the emotional earmarks of hand-holding cinema to me. Just the proximity, the electricity going between these two, and the way his nose nudges up against her hair, and he just kind of sits there for a second. It's just whew, man.
But then he's mad. The scene ends with him being really, really mad for a second, and then they kiss. What do you think about him being mad, Parker?
I think it works. I think it is his. He is seeing the rest of his life stretch out before him, as he's sitting there in proximity to this girl that he feels so much for, and he's like, "If I do this, I'm never leaving this town. I will never, ever get out if I kiss this girl." And it feels like he is raging against the universe in that moment. He's like, listen to me. I'm not staying here. I'm not going to fall in love with you, know? And then it just takes over. And he's just their love is so much more powerful than his fear, I think. And it works for me. I don't know. What do you think of it?
Yeah, no, I think I can see the reason behind it. Again, I think I just I clench a little bit when he's shaking her. But then, again, it's not I'm wow, he sucks and I hate this movie. I'm just and again, it's not even something that the movie's doing wrong. I'm just ugh, it's just I don't want him to do that.
Yeah.
But I understand from a character reason why he does that. I just want to go back really quick. You said that Jimmy Stewart was in the military?
Yeah.
Wow. Do you think that's kind of maybe an untold story that maybe... I'm just wondering if there's room for do you think there's room for a full biopic, maybe starring someone from the Riverdale cast, in which Jimmy Stewart's I have to go to war.
Not from a studio anybody's ever heard of. I can tell you that much.
Everyone go look up.
It looks like an SNL skit. It looks like an SNL skit.
I like that the website's called JimmyTheMovie.com.
JimmyTheMovie.com. It's crazy. It's nuts.
The untold story of Jimmy Stewart. I have to go to war.
Yeah,
this isn't like the movies, he says while he's at war. Anyway.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, someone else says it for him in that trailer.
Oh, really?
Yeah, someone says, this isn't like the movies.
Oh. Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, Burger, I half watched that trailer before I sent it to you.
That tracks. That makes a lot of sense. And you made me suffer.
It's the Sen Parker bad trailers for Young Washing. The Angel Studios adjacent movies, that are I'm whoa, this trailer is weird.
Did you see the Animal Farm one?
No, I couldn't
From
bring
Angel
myself
Studios?
to hit play. I couldn't bring myself to hit play, Parker.
Yeah.
Wow.
Anyway,
back
to this really great
shout out
scene.
to my friend from school who does the marketing for Angel
I also
Studios.
have a friend from school who does marketing for Angel Studios.
Great.
Yeah.
This is good.
Yeah. So they
Anyway.
kiss. We have that moment.
Sorry, I undercut that completely. I just had to
good.
get that out. I
Yeah,
just had to
I
be like,
understand.
wait, he was in the military?
So they get married. I love that Mary's mom is just sobbing through the whole
Yeah, she's
ceremony
pissed.
and is very
So mad.
distraught.
Yeah.
They hop in the cab, they're heading on their honeymoon. They're going to go abroad, like 2 weeks abroad, all these great places, right?
Yeah, and then it's it's Black Tuesday. Is it Black Monday? Black Tuesday?
I don't know.
Black Tuesday.
Yeah, Black Tuesday, I think. Yeah, stock market has collapsed. Run on the bank.
If you tried to make whatever the modern equivalent to It's a Wonderful Life is now, let's say, 20 years from now.
Yeah.
Do you think you can do a scene where it's like, we're about to go on our honeymoon? Oh no, wait, they're saying that flights are canceled due to something called the coronavirus. Like, the thing I'm trying to say is, like, at the time this movie was made, did they have a healthier relationship to the idea of that awful thing that happened to us, we can see it in a movie? Or do you think they were also just as put off by it? Because I feel like people now are like, so like, we don't want to see that. And I'm like, but also it happened?
But it happened.
And shouldn't it be in movies about this time?
I don't know. I'm sure that for some audience members, it's probably like triggering to see that, right? To be like, man, I was there. I know what that was like.
Yeah.
But it also seemed like, I don't know, especially like with this being a post-war film, I feel like there's a lot of sentiment of like, look what we've made it through. Look what we've survived through, Yeah. So maybe there was some of that going on. Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that one day we can just accept that movies will have to talk about the pandemic eventually, and we don't all have to be like, oh, do we have to? I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it's fine.
It happened. We should talk about it. Anyway, that was kind of an interesting thought that I had. Yeah. Stock market collapses. And the thing I love the most about this is that when they're in the building alone and we're talking to all those people and Mary's come in and he's like, well, I'll get you your money, Yeah,
it's not here. It's in everybody's houses. Like, you're misunderstanding what this is. Yeah.
But that Mary is like, how much do you need?
Mary holds up the money.
I go,
again,
there's no fucking Mary problem. What are you talking about?
Yeah, it makes me cry every time we get to this scene of just everybody's so stressed and Mary looking down and then just holding it up. How much do you need? Like, it's her choice. And she doesn't ask permission. She doesn't go, George, can we do this? Is like, she just does it.
Yeah.
And George immediately jumps straight in and is like, yes, this, right? Yeah. It's like, I'll bring it up again later, but like my favorite part of this article that I'm mentioning, There Is No Mary Problem, It's a Wonderful Life, is that there's a quote where she says, in context of a world where George is never born, there is no Mary-sized man in town. Mm-hmm. And that's what George is. George is a Mary-sized man. And you see that in this scene of both of them are instantaneously on the same wavelength. And there's no qualms. There's no scene where they both sit down and cry about it later and be like, man, I really wanted to go on our honeymoon. Like, this is a choice they are so fully in on, the both of them.
I mean, her reaction to recognizing that they can't do their honeymoon they were planning on is to do everything that she does with the house. And to have Bert and Ernie, the Muppets, come by and put up the posters. Like, she, again, is doing the big grand romantic gestures and not in a way that feels like, well, that's expected. The woman should, do this for the man. It's like, no, they're in this together.
Yes, I completely
They're in this
agree.
together. Yeah.
So they bail out the building loan. They make it through the day. They've got
love
$2 left.
Love the way that when she says, I guess for a week I can do $17.50, and the reaction that George has. Of,
well,
like,
that's improvised. So they so everybody else had things to say, but that actress Capra said, "Surprise Jimmy." Get Jimmy to react somehow. It's just, can I have $17.50? And so his like kiss right there is just fully just his reaction to that, which I love.
Again, like, I love him being like, let's put them in the safe and see what happens. Like them talking about how like they like hopefully they they made like rabbits. Hopefully, lovely stuff. Just really delightful. And then the scene at the house, the honeymoon at the house, just like, I don't know. It felt as I was watching it, I felt a lot like the line from Into the Spider-Verse where he's like, can you imagine that? Just one seahorse meets another seahorse. They're making it work. Like, that's how I felt watching this movie. I was like, they're just making it work.
They're making it work. And like, again, something I love about this movie is that if Capra's critics were correct, if they're like, you are schmaltzy sentimentality nothingness, he would show up and the house would be renovated. The house would be perfect, right? Like, here is your new home. The house is a shithole. The house is falling apart, and she's still gonna make a home out of it, and that is just
they have
beautiful.
their little cake layer. Mm-hmm. He like goes ooh at the side of the bed.
That's what his eyeballs do.
It's weird they didn't put that in.
Yeah,
that sound effect. Yeah, it's really strange that they didn't put that in during the Hays Code era. Mm-hmm. So
Bert and Ernie sing to them. They kiss, and she says, "That night when we threw rocks at this house, this is what I wished for." And I sob every time.
Aww.
It gets me. Yeah. Aww. It's really
lovely.
Yep. And then we just kind of get life from them. We get a big kind of rapid montage of they have kids.
Right,
she's fixing up the house.
Building Potter's. No, what? Bailey Park.
Yeah, Bailey Park. We meet Mr. Martini and his family, and they I love the it's like, oh, you moving? You renting somewhere else's? Rent? I own. And it's just like,
wow, imagine.
And so this family moves to this lovely little house, and I love this cutaway that we have of Potter's loan collector mapping out what's happening to him, and he's like, hey, look at this is what it looked like 6 months ago.
He also says the way he has a certain phrase that he opens with where he's like, hey, no skin off my nose.
It's no skin off my nose. Mm-hmm.
No skin off my nose. I'm just your little rent collector, is what he says. And I was like, I'm just your little rent collector? What? Hello?
Hello? That's really good. Yeah, but he's just like, look at this. Like, he's like, I used to hunt rabbits here. It used to be nothing, and now, like, dozens of the prettiest homes you've ever seen, owned all by suckers who used to pay you rent. Like, this is going to be a real problem for you.
At half the price that it should cost to buy that place.
Yeah, like, the building and loan is losing money on these, but they're making them anyway. You know?
And I love at the end when he's like, look, I might end up working for him.
Yeah, he's like, again, because he's like, in my opinion, he's like, I don't care about your opinion. He says, again, it's no skin off my nose. But one of these days, this bright young man is going to be asking George Bailey for a job.
Yep.
Which I really love. Potter is not having this, and so he's going to call up George. Meanwhile, George is back at the Martini's house doing a grand opening. Sam is there with his wife or girlfriend, whoever, and is making a show of his big fancy car, and he's like, you guys should come on vacation with us.
Right, because earlier they'd had a conversation during that phone scene. He's like, you should invest in plastic with me or whatever.
And he's like, I offered him a chance to go in on the ground floor of this, and he turned me down flat. And so he leaves, and George is clearly shaken up by Sam anytime he comes into his wake, and Mary doesn't care. Like, they're talking. He's like, look, Mary, Sam, wait. And she's like, who cares? Like, we're doing something. Let's do this thing.
It's also nice that Sam, when he says bye, is like, okay, see you, George, see you, Mary. Like, I'm like, you and Mary were like, you dated for a time, but you're, you can, like, be friends.
Yep. But George is very upset about his really bad little car from the 1910s. But Mr. Potter's called him. And so he goes to Mr. Potter's office, and Mr. Potter's being very, very nice to him, giving him cigars.
She's like, you've beaten me at every turn.
Mm-hmm. He's like, and I'm giving up. He's like, I am admitting defeat. I want you to come and work for me, and I will give you a lot of money. Like,
and it almost works.
Of money. Yeah, it almost works. And that's again, the thing that works so well about this scene is that even more than Mary, like we understand implicitly that Mary understands George and who he is, but she doesn't verbalize that in the same way where Potter, this is the first time somebody sits down and says out loud everything George is feeling. Like, Potter knows this guy inside and out, and that's what works on him, is that he's like, you are frustrated. You're surrounded by people who are taking advantage of you, and you're such a giving person that you just give and give and give, and you're never going to leave. And you have so much potential. And he says everything that George thinks about himself. And I think that's what works about the scene, is that it's not just here's a big pile of money. It's, I understand you on a fundamental level, and I get you. And he does. And he
Yeah.
offers him a way out. And then George shakes his hand, and it's a great performance from Jimmy Stewart where he just stops and, like, looks like he is just, like, touched filth. Like, he wipes his hand on himself. He's just like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And he turns him down flat, and he yells at him, and he's like, this is where he calls him a scurvy little spider, I think. And he's like, you sit here, you weave your webs like some scurvy little spider, but you're not going to catch me. Like, it's not going to happen. You've bought everybody else, you're not going to buy me. He goes home, and he's still thinking about it. 1940s, we get the voiceover, repeated clips of all the things he was saying. Buy your wife nice things, have the best house in town, all this stuff. And Mary's lying in bed, and she rolls over and greets him. And I love this little exchange that they have, again, specifically as it ties into where we get to later in the film. Mm-hmm. He says, Mary Hatch, why in the world did you ever marry a guy like me? She says, to keep from being an old maid. Just very jokingly. And he said, you could have married Sam Wainwright or anybody else in this town. She said, I didn't want anybody else in this town. I want my baby to look like you.
Yeah.
And, they're pregnant and it's thrilling. But like that specific, I didn't want anybody else in town is kind of a linchpin for the later future scene that everybody gets in a gripe over.
Right.
And then from there, it's the war montage, I think. We just jump straight to...
Yeah, war.
Yeah.
There's war.
I guess they haven't had kids yet because that's the big moment is that she's pregnant. We can now get more of that. The war is happening. George wants to enlist, but he can't because of his ear. When he was a kid, he lost his hearing.
Right.
So
they talk about all the other guys.
Everybody else goes.
Everyone else goes. Which is nice because it's not like we get George being like, well, I wanted to go to war. Like, I feel like I'm not, we don't get that. It's just another layer of like, he never leaves.
He never leaves.
Leaves. And again, it's not like, it's good. Yeah. They're preparing for Harry to come back because Harry is, he got the
huge
Medal of
war
Honor
hero
from the president. Kind of
he shot down two fighters that were going to crash into a convoy full of soldiers and saved everybody's lives.
Yeah. Well, now I feel like I can't be like my Forrest Gump joke, but like they've doctored a photo of Truman.
Yes.
Giving Harry the Medal of Honor, and I was like, whoa, it's just like in Forrest Gump.
That is maybe my favorite joke in the movie is Ernie. It's Bert. Bert's on the phone. Bert's on the telephone, and George is walking around town handing out newspapers to people. And he goes up to Bert, and he's like, hey, did you see this? And we see the insert of the newspaper with the doctored photo of Harry, receiving the medal. Yeah, Harry and Harry. And Bert goes, yeah, it's going to snow tomorrow.
Yeah.
What do you mean it's going to snow tomorrow?
Yeah. It's funny. It's great.
But and again, now we are caught up.
It's not like we're going to George and George is like, well, I wish I'd gotten the medal. No,
he's thrilled. He's so happy. And Clarence makes mention of like, okay, this was today. We are now caught up. This was this morning.
Yeah. Uncle Billy goes to Potter's Bank to deposit the equivalent of $140,000.
That's a lot of money.
As of last year.
A lot of money.
And he taunts Potter with the newspaper headline and then accidentally gives him the money.
Yeah, puts it in his newspaper by mistake.
Potter keeps the money.
Yep.
He's like, we'll be over by the door. And he looks at the door and he looks and he sees Billy just having the worst time ever.
Yep. And Billy has been forgetful this whole time.
The way you just did that.
Yeah.
Was that Potter or was that Billy?
That's about Potter.
Okay, I was going to say it's Potter. And I was like, the way you did it just made me go, is Potter kind of like a Harryhausen stop motion character?
He kind of is.
He kind of
is a little bit.
He kind of is. Just the way that you did that.
Yeah.
So he keeps the money. Billy loses his mind
because Billy is forgetful. We've throughout the movie he has strings tied around his finger. He tries to remember things all the time.
So yeah.
Bank examiner shows up.
The bank examiner. The health inspector.
Yes.
Of the scene.
And he keeps trying to get George's attention, but George keeps getting distracted by Harry calls and the newspaper. Violet shows up and is leaving town, and George gives her some money.
Yes.
And the bank examiner's just like, please, like, I just want to go home. I want to go home to do Christmas with my family. And then Uncle Billy shows up and is just like in disarray. Like, it's just like a total mess. Clues George
in. He'd be in less disarray if he didn't have multiple wild animals living at his house and at his place of work.
Trait. It's so funny.
But like, the first time we see the Raven in the office is on Black Tuesday, and I was like, well, that's kind of an obvious metaphor that feels kind of weird. It's like, yeah, I get that it's an omen, and then it's like, no, that's just Uncle Billy's coworker and pet.
That Raven is Jimmy the Raven, not named for Jimmy Stewart. He first showed up in a Frank Capra film, and You Can't Take It With You, and subsequently showed up in every film Frank Capra ever made.
Right, but is this not who's that cat that was in all those movies, but was actually multiple cats in the studio just lied?
As I understand it, this is the same Raven. This is the same guy.
I guess ravens are smarter than cats.
True.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Hey, great.
But yeah, just he has so many animals. It's crazy.
But once they've like scoured the town for the money and they're at Uncle Billy's house and George is pissed, Uncle Billy like collapses into his head, and a squirrel just comes up and is like kind of just sits on his arm like it's a hug.
It's really good. It's okay. It's okay.
It goes unaddressed, right? Or is there a
no?
line
We never
that
talk
I
about
missed?
it, and there is no reason to it. And just like, again, good characterization of like, I love lines that imply so much that like isn't important but adds texture. During the scene where they're at his house, George is like, think, is there anywhere it could possibly be? He's like, and here in the house, do you have some secret high place? He says, George, I've looked everywhere. He's like, I've looked in rooms that have been locked since I lost Laura. Yeah. And it's just a very quick little line that doesn't matter at all, but like it adds texture to this world and these
almost
characters.
Gives contextualization to Billy.
Yeah.
Right.
Which I really like. It's nice.
It's so interesting.
George goes home and is just in a completely sour mood. And every time I watch this movie, I'm just sitting there.
He goes to Potter first, doesn't he?
No, because he goes to Potter after everything's fallen apart at home.
Oh, you're right.
He goes home, and every time I watch this movie, I literally yell at the screen. I'm like, talk to your wife. Talk to Mary, please. Like, tell Mary what's going on. But his family are all getting ready for Christmas
there's a
party.
George problem.
Yeah, I think there might be. And he's so not there. And he's just angry. Everything's getting on his nerves. And Mary notices very quickly and is trying to skirt around it, trying to keep the kids out of his wake. Like, it's like, hey, can you come to the kitchen with me for a minute? And she's like, what's wrong? He's like, what do you mean what's wrong? Everything's wrong. This drafty house. Why do we have so many kids? Like, he's just going off on everybody. As, again, is not uncharacteristic for him. We have seen the way that he will blow up at people when things aren't going his way. And again, I like that as a character trait for him. I like that he is complex and flawed in that way.
Well, because also, this is a little bit more, who are we contextualizing this for? But when he leaves Billy, he's like, one of us is going to prison and it's not going to be me. Yeah. Like, because that's how serious this is. Yeah. But he does have his nice little moment with Zuzu. Mm-hmm. It's the one moment where he's not blowing up at anybody.
And when he first walks in the door, he sits down, and it's a shot that really wrecks me. And it's when Mary knows something is really wrong. Is that his like young, not Zuzu, but like his next youngest kid is like playing with him, and he just holds him to him and just sobs, just like kisses him and is just crying. And we cut to this great close up of Donna Reed, and she's like, shit, okay, something is very, very wrong here.
And again, I feel like it's a weird line to give her in that moment, but weirdly she makes it work, that she says, shit, something is really, really wrong.
And she pulls it off. She does a great job with it. Goes up with Zuzu, and he finally calms down a little bit. She's sick because she got a flower as a prize, and she didn't want to crush it on her way home from school, so she got a cold.
When he's trying to get her to go to sleep, and she's like, I want to look at my flower. Like, that made me cry. I don't know. Yeah. I'm very like, I have my nephew is almost 2, and it's like my first time I've had like a little kid in my life. Yeah. And now every movie about a little kid makes me cry. And her, just the way, like, that's just so, like, she's like, well, I want to stay up so I can look at my flower. Yeah. And he's like, if you go to sleep, you can dream a whole garden of flowers.
Yeah. And the way she goes, really? Like, it's so lovely. It's so lovely. And again, is devastating when you think about George being here, being like, this might be the last time I see my child. Yeah. You know? Yeah. And she's like, hey.
So do you, okay, because he's thinking he's going to prison.
He thinks he fully thinks
because at this point, he's not ideal.
He's not yet. He's not suicidal yet, I don't think, but he thinks he's going to prison. Zuzu's like, trying to show him his flower, and a bunch of petals fall off, and she's like, paste it, daddy. And he, pulls it around the side and stuffs some of the petals in his like pocket. And then he's like, there, it's fixed, and he gives it to her. He goes downstairs. Mary's on the phone with
Miss Welch.
Zuzu's teacher, Mrs. Welch, calls to make sure he's okay, and he just tears her a new one. He just goes off on this poor woman. And Mary is trying to rein him. He's like, you stay out of this. I've got this. Mr. Welch gets on the phone and is cussing out George. And he's like, oh, really? Anytime you think you're man enough. And that's when Mary just isn't having it anymore. She's George, what's wrong? What is going on? He won't tell her. He's got his models of all his bridges and the buildings he's wanted to build his whole life set up in the living room. And he just smashes them all. He just kicks them all over, and that gets everybody's attention. And that's the moment he knows he's gone too far. And he tries to apologize. He tries to dial it back. And the kids are really upset by this. And Mary protectively goes to them and tells George, like, George, why don't you just... And he's, Mary, I'm sorry. And then he leaves because he just can't face his family anymore. Like, everything is falling apart. This is when he goes to Potter. He's now at his lowest point, and he's like, I have no other recourse. I need to go beg, get on my hands and knees and beg to Potter. And he goes, and he I love this too. This little detail about George is that he's telling Potter all about this. And he says, I don't know what to do. I've misplaced $8,000. He says, you've misplaced $8,000. He goes, yes, sir, I have. Like, he isn't throwing Uncle Billy under the bus.
No.
He is still looking out for him in that way.
Because again, as is the pattern, even though he initially is like, one of us is going to prison, it's not going to be me. Mm-hmm. As George always does, he's like pissed at first and then accepts that he's going to have to do the thing.
He's going to have to do it, yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Potter shoots him down immediately. And I love his line. I love so much. He said, you once called me a warp, frustrated old man. What are you but a warp, frustrated young man? Yeah. And I'm just like, yeah.
So like you're on Potter's side.
I am on Potter's side, yes.
You're like, that's a good line.
That's a good line from a good character.
What we need is we need an asshole.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
But like, it is... It's such a trope now of the, like, we're not so different, you and I, you know? And usually it's done very, very poorly. But I like here that, like, there is some similarities between Potter and George. Like, they are not entirely different people in the ways that they experience their frustrations on the world. It's just that Potter chooses to live in that and George doesn't.
Right,
you know?
He chooses evil.
Yeah, he does. Every time.
Every morning, Mr. Potter wakes up, and he chooses evil.
He chooses evil. He does.
Yeah.
And he tells George he's swearing out a warrant for his arrest.
Which is wild because, like, this is such a, obviously this is an inverse of the previous scene between them in which he's like, I cede. This is, I want to offer you a job, and even though I'd seen this before, I was still like, right, and like, there's still this thing, but like. No, Potter literally is like, no, I'm going to issue a warrant for your arrest. Like, you're done.
Yeah, and when he's asking... Yes, go ahead.
Well, just because this is, like, previously he was trying to get rid of George by getting him under his thumb.
Yeah.
And now he's like, oh, I don't have to. I don't even have to deal with him at all. I can just get rid of him.
He can be gone.
Like, he can just go away.
Yeah. And during this, when he's asking for money, he's like, do you have any collateral? He's like, I've got a $15,000 life insurance policy. He's like, what's your equity? And he says, $500.
Yeah, $500.
And that's when he says, you're worth more dead than alive.
Yeah.
And that puts the
Which
thought in
isn't
George's
delivered
head.
With gravitas.
No,
like,
it's just it's in the middle of his monologue.
It's not even like we get a close up of Potter saying that.
No,
like,
it's
there
George's
isn't,
reaction,
which I like as a choice because we don't need to telegraph that because I do think it's just something that George can pick up on and then act on. It's not like Potter's telling him to kill himself.
No, it's just that thought is now there. Yeah, I agree. George runs away. He goes to Martini's bar. Maybe his best performance in the movie, I think, is just this quiet little prayer moment where he's talking to God, and he's like,
I also like that he opens with, I'm not a man of prayer.
Yeah, he's like, I'm not a praying man, but please, if you're there, like, I'm at the end of my rope. Like, I need guidance. I need help.
then we cut over to the door, and Benoit Blanc enters, and he goes,
yes.
Hello!
Hello!
He's going to help him find the money.
Right, of course. And Martini and the bartender Nick are trying to comfort him, and they drop his name Mr. Welch just happens to be sitting next to George, and he clocks him.
Which Bailey?
George Bailey.
This is Mr. George Bailey. Wow.
And he yells at him for, screaming at his wife. And I love when they pick him up. He says, well, that's what I get for praying. He's just like, yep, there it is. That's God's judgment on me. He goes wandering off into the snow. He's drunk. He's sad. He crashes his car into some guy's tree.
Into someone's great-grandfather's tree.
My great-grandfather planted this tree.
All right.
And he goes staggering off towards the bridge.
What we don't recognize is that his great-grandfather worked as a set designer on It's a Wonderful
Right, yes.
Life.
So they don't establish that,
which
but it
is really
important.
impressive because he was like 100 years old.
But he was out
working
there. He was
on
working
that set.
hard.
So it's not about the age of the tree. It's about my great-grandfather is like, risking his life and safety by putting this set together, and you have no respect for it.
And that's I'm proud of him for that.
Yeah.
We get to the bridge, and George is looking manic, just like as he's ready to kill himself. And we cut to, I love the way he just shows up. Like, George is looking over the edge. He's gonna jump, and we just cut to an old man who we haven't seen this dude. We don't know who this is. A random person is just watching him with like bemusement, right?
And it's been a while since we've heard from Clarence.
We heard,
right?
we heard from Clarence when this day started, but that was maybe like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, and it's not like we get like, now's your time, Clarence.
Yes,
here you go.
No. Go.
He's here.
Yeah. He's here. And this is something that like I picked up on a few years ago, and I can't get over it. And like I might even get emotional talking about it right now, of like George is going to jump in, and Clarence jumps in first and then is calling for help. George takes off his coat and dives in. And I love the fact that Clarence saw that George jumped into cold, freezing water to save his brother. And so he makes him do it again to save himself.
Yeah.
And I just think that is beautiful. Like, I love that sentiment so much. And so he dives in like, at the lowest point of his life, he is still going to try and help somebody. And so he jumps in after Clarence.
You know what's wild is people who saw this for the first time before it was known as, it's sort of an It's a Wonderful Life situation.
Yeah.
Like, they don't know what's going to happen at the end. Like,
yeah, they have no idea.
Like, truly, the fact that, like, because I was even feeling it, and I know what this movie is, but, like, when George is wandering to the bridge, I'm like, right, there's, like, 20 minutes left because we have to show the world without him. But I was kind of like, again, just completely like, oh, it doesn't feel like we, like, even knowing that it's going to happen, I still don't go into the ending of this being like, right, and then the pacing of it is this, and this is going to happen. Like, it still feels very, like, effective without this extra element. The extra element there, which is now what it is known for, is just kind of like a great add to this. I mean, it's what it literally is adapted from, obviously. But it is so interesting to, like, adapt a short story and then write a full story that works on its own. There is a version of this movie that doesn't adapt The Greatest Gift, that is just like, and, George doesn't kill himself, whatever. There's a different version of this, of the divine intervention or whatever. But the fact that it's like, we're going to build up to that story we're adapting, but it's going to be the last, like, we're not stretching that story out.
Yeah.
We're just adding a bunch of stuff before it. It's very interesting to me.
Yeah, I agree.
Anyway, that's all.
It's very, very curious.
Yeah.
And I agree. Like, it feels so whole even without this. But yeah, now we are to the log line. Like, we're here. This is the thing that everybody knows the movie for, which is crazy.
Yeah.
The attendant to the bridge takes them up, dries them out, and is very off-put. He is freaked out by Clarence. He runs away, and they leave them alone. And Clarence is telling him that he's an angel, and George is like, you look like about the kind of angel I'd get. And he says, he's like, it's life insurance policy. I'm worth more dead than alive. Well, maybe it'd be better if I wasn't even born at all.
Right.
He says, oh, you mustn't say that.
And then Clarence goes, oh, wish granted.
Oh, wait a second. Hey,
end of movie.
A movie. Boom. Done.
Goes, you were never born.
You were never born. I do love the thunder and the lightning. He goes, you don't have to make that much of a fuss about it.
Yeah.
It's really good.
And then It's a Wonderful Life.
Then It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah.
So, Nick's bar. I don't know.
Nick is mean. Mr. Gower's there. He went to prison because the kid got poisoned. George wasn't there to stop him.
Devastating life.
Yep, it's Pottersville now. Potter's taken over everything, and it's
Sort
got
of
a
Back
real
to the Future Part
yeah,
2
it's a real
situation.
Biff Tannen kind of town. And it's
Frank Capra
casinos
was like,
and strip clubs.
What if we do
and,
Back to the Future Part 2? Like, what if that's
that's what Frank Capra said, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But Violet is a dancing girl and gets in trouble with the law.
I mean, again, it plays into the American myth thing of it all, but it is like a little silly. It's like if George Bailey never exists, and again, I know it's the building and loan, I understand, but it is like, what's the worst thing that could happen to the town? Well, everyone's a sex worker, and it's just bars. And I go, oh, yeah, all right.
I guess. Yeah. No, I know what you
I don't know. It is just kind of like, that's the funniest thing. I'm like, the worst thing. Obviously, there's a lot of bad implications of this. Again, I'm not saying that this is actually a good town, but it is like, I don't know, it is just kind of like this very quaint idea of like, well, obviously Mr. Potter is going to convert Bedford Falls into Pottersville and make it into just like a hive of, sin.
Well, it's so funny because like
I don't
he
get
makes
the
it
sense that
into
Mr.
like
Potter
a
is
capitalist
sin.
hellscape.
Right.
Like it's just a place where people spend money on kind of nothing.
That's a good point. Yeah.
But like I agree, it is funny. It's also
They still have a
interesting.
library though.
They still have a library. I do find it fascinating, and I've always found this curious, that we don't see Potter in this alternate reality.
We don't.
There's no statue.
We also
we
don't see
him.
Sam.
No, we don't see Sam. Because I guess Sam's just off in New York still doing his thing, I don't know.
he got out of that thing clean.
Yeah, he's...
Sam's life not touched by George at all.
Not at all. And so...
Oh, no, Sam's
he
not
goes,
there because he wouldn't build the factory in Bedford Falls.
Yes, that's right. Mm-hmm.
Duh.
Yeah, wouldn't have built that there.
Because George suggested that.
Yeah.
Okay.
George goes to see his mother before he goes downtown, and she is like, she's mean and crotchety. And she's like, what do you want? And I love that she's like, I only accept strangers for people that I know. He's like, I know everybody you know. Like, who? Like, your brother, Uncle Billy. Like, I know him. She's like, when was you see him last? I saw him yesterday. She's like, he's been in an insane asylum ever since he lost his business. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Goes downtown. Violet Bick is a dancer, keeps getting in trouble with the law. Ernie, the cab driver, doesn't know who he is. His wife left him. Just like everybody's in really rough shape without George. And he's freaked out by George, and he signals to Bert the cop to follow him. He's like, hey,
right, because he tells him to take him to 320, whatever.
Yeah. So they go, and the house is abandoned. There's just no one there.
Really, I don't know. I feel like I don't see this kind of lighting and stuff from Capra that often.
Yeah.
But like the kind of more, noir-esque, like,
it's a haunted house. It's
It's
like,
kind of interesting to see him do like this spooky little moment in this abandoned house.
Yeah.
And like the silhouettes of the men in the doorway and being like, come on now, get him out of there.
The cobwebs everywhere. Like it's very atmospheric in there. I agree. Like it's very chiaroscuro, which I like a lot. Clarence shows up again. And he's like, no one's here. Like no one lives here anymore. Like, what are you talking about?
Bert tries to Park.
Yeah, Bailey Park. Bert tries to arrest him. He runs to Bailey Park, and it's a cemetery. Like it is. This is like, and they talk about that. The Greatest Gift is very loosely inspired by Christmas Carol, and you can see a lot of that. Like it's a Christmas ghost story essentially. And I like that we like lean really hard into that visually here of just like, nope, we are now in Christmas Carol territory. Like we are here. Yeah. It is the graveyard.
We are looking at a gravestone. I do want to just highlight your review for this watch because I couldn't not think about it when I watched the movie because George goes to Harry's grave and he's like, well, Harry didn't die. He saved all those,
Yeah.
It's like, no, he died when he was 8 because he drowned in the pond.
He's like, Harry died.
Boys.
You weren't there to save him. He didn't. He wasn't there to save all those men because you weren't there to save him.
And your review.
Review.
And your review.
All right, hold on. Let's find the exact lead up.
I just want to say while you're pulling that up that none of the other boys tried to save Harry.
No. Well, it's so strange.
I guess the idea is that George was willing to
would jump in after him. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's a lie. Harry Bailey went to war. He got the Congressional Medal of Honor. He saved the lives of every man on that transport. Every man on that transport died. Harry wasn't there to save them because you weren't there to save Harry. We lost the war because of you, George.
There's a version of this in which it is, oh my gosh, the Nazi, like the
Nazi Germany,
the Axis
Bedford
powers
Falls.
won because
Harry Bailey wasn't there to stop that. Save the convoy.
Like, that's truly like, I feel like, creating if I may,
yes,
I'm going to create a straw man.
Yeah.
There's someone out there who like watches this movie and just hates it because it's about a man who did all great things. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, why does it have to be a man who did? Well, he's this great man, and I go, he's literally a fictional guy.
He's a dude.
This isn't The Greatest Showman where they're like, actually.
Yeah.
Barnum was, he was actually a great guy and he helped all these people. I go, no, he was a real guy and he sucked. Mm-hmm. At least this movie isn't doing that. Like, you can just, again, this is why I created a straw man, because I'm arguing with no one. But, like, this idea of, like, because, like, I have that, I've got Twitter in my head, and watch this movie, I want to be like, oh, everything is worse because this guy didn't exist. Like, I want to, but then I'm like, get the internet out of your head. Get those people out of like, I'm just going to enjoy the movie.
Yeah. Because, it's something that I think about a lot where people are like, oh, this is the worst case scenario. I say, it's not the worst case scenario. This is just what life is like when you're not touched by this particular person. That's it.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, and like you said,
it's
people
like,
are living their lives.
It's not like the Axis powers won World War II.
Exactly.
Like, there's the worst version of this is like, well, George, Harry was, war was lost.
You are the linchpin of our reality.
Right. It's not that.
It's not that. It's just, look at, like, Clarence says it. He says, strange how one life touches so many others. Yes. And I think that's what this is trying to show.
That's the point.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. And this is when he asks about Mary. He says, where's Mary? Clarence says, I'm not supposed to tell. He's like, Clarence, please, I have to see her. He says, she became an old maid. She's closing up the library. And this is where a lot of people catch on this movie because they bring in that, what is the worst case scenario for this person? The worst case scenario for Mary is that she never married and she's a librarian. And isn't that awful? And I get so frustrated with these people because I'm like, you're fundamentally misunderstanding the text. You are just being Twitter brained about this and trying to find something wrong because, go read this amazing essay, they talk about this. It is not, Mary could have gotten anybody she wanted. They say that in the text. She said, I didn't want anybody else. I wanted my baby to look like you. And in a universe where George doesn't exist, Mary cannot find somebody who matches her freak. Mary cannot find somebody who is on her level. And she knows that. And she's not going to settle, so she chooses not to marry. And that is like what people misunderstand about this, I think, is that they view this as Mary's worst case scenario. It's not. It's George's worst case scenario because she doesn't know him. Yeah. And that's what he says to her. He said, Mary, don't you know me? Yeah. Like that's the thing that gets him to go back. He cannot handle this because he doesn't say to her, and they talk about this in the essay, when he chases the alternate Mary through the streets, his desperate cry is not, Mary, what have they done to you? But, don't you know me? What's happened to us? Yeah. Like, that is, like, this is George's worst case scenario. It's not Mary's. Mary is not living a miserable life, but her life is so much fuller when she finds somebody who is so engaged with life the way that she is, Yes. And I think that's, like, that is my manifesto. That is my thesis argument against these people who don't like Mary, who don't like this movie. The worst case scenario
isn't a woman who is single and works at the library. That's not the movie's point.
No.
If you're bringing that to this movie, that's not what it's saying in the text.
Yeah. Because George is constantly being met by people who don't know him, and that isn't enough to shake him. Yeah. But when the person you love most doesn't know you, that's devastating. That is the scariest thing that could possibly happen to him. And that's what gets him to go back, right?
And so he goes back.
And he runs. Birch live fires into a crowd of people trying to kill him, which is nuts.
Sorry.
It's crazy. And he gets back to the bridge and has, again, a scene that just I sob through where Clarence is gone and he just can't find him. He says, Clarence, take me back. I don't care what happens to me. I just need to see my wife and kids again. Let me live again. Please, God, let me live again. And it just...
And it snows.
And the snow. And, yeah,
Purpose
no,
of
I will,
the
I will cry about it if I think about it too long. Of just him hunched over on this railing, sobbing, I want to live again, and the snow just starts. And it's just beautiful, beautiful visual storytelling.
Last year, we talked about Scrooge, which is my preferred version of A Christmas Carol, and I ceded all of my ground to you and the Muppets, the Muppets army.
You described this like it was a hostile takeover. I was begging you. I was begging you to stand your ground, and you refused.
No, I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at myself for giving in. But in that episode, maybe I brought it up in the episode, or maybe I'm bringing this up for no reason. Yeah. Because at some point we've had a conversation, I think it was on that episode, about and now we literally have, Robert Eggers and Ty West are both making Christmas Carol adaptations. One with Willem Dafoe and one with Johnny Depp. And I go, uh-oh. Oh. I think if I was going to see one of those, I know exactly
which one I'm going for, actually.
But, the question I posed to you either on that episode or just recently was, do we want another Christmas Carol adaptation in a world where billionaires and basically almost the world's first trillionaire is actively ruining do we want to see a rich evil man turn good? Yeah. Do we want to see that? Can we actually relate to that? And I think that's why people prefer the Muppets one. That kind of takes it out of a reality.
Sure.
I like the Scrooge one because it's just very... Albert Finney plays him as a Muppet himself.
Yes.
That's kind of my take, is I'm the Muppets one is fun because it's Michael Caine being a real actor in a world of Muppets. And the 1970s Scrooge adaptation of Albert Finney is great because Albert Finney is a Muppet in a world of real people.
Yes, absolutely.
But, do we have... And then, as we're talking about this, I go, well, this is the poor man's Christmas Carol. This is...
Yeah.
And I'm not... And they are doing... Apparently there is an announced remake of this. But, I am just Parker, I just watched Parker's... just watched the life leave Parker's eyes.
It's fine. It's fine.
Oh, no. Anyway, but my point is just... This is the answer to that.
Yeah.
This is the... This is the socialist Christmas Carol, the communist Christmas Carol, according to the FBI, right? Anyway, I was just thinking about that. I was like, oh, this is the movie that actually,
it is an everyman Scrooge in a way, right? He's not a Scrooge, but it is a transformation of someone at Christmas time.
It is.
Finding the value of life.
And also, the real rich, the real wealth is friends and connection and love.
Yes. Yeah, which they say, and we'll get... So we have this mad sprint to the finish. Bert shows up. George's like, I'm rich again, Bert. Don't... He's like, what the Sam Hill are you yelling about, George? Do you know me? So of course I know you. What are you talking about? His lips bleeding again. He knows he's back. He knows he's back in his reality.
Yeah.
Is thrilled. And I kind of just don't stop crying from here to the end. The hello Bedford Falls running
Merry
down.
Christmas.
I love him going to Mr. Potter. Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter.
Yeah.
And Happy New Year to you in jail.
I like that Mr. Potter he's not redeemed at all.
Frank Capra said that in his, over his career, he received more mail about that than anything else, of people saying, why doesn't Mr. Potter get a comeuppance? Why does he get away with it? Just people so upset about that.
Because that's the world.
It's also surprising, too, because the Hays Code specifically says that criminals have to be punished. They have to get a comeuppance, and Potter doesn't.
Guess, technically, Potter, he is a thief. In the sense that he ended up with that money, but he didn't do it intentionally initially.
Right. So I'm sure there's some loophole there's
some loophole there.
But it's interesting that a lot of people in life have found that to be a really tough pill to swallow. But I agree. I love it because it said that's true to life. The bad guys get away with it sometimes, but ultimately that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The community will still thrive. The community will still rise. He goes home. The bank examiner's waiting for him. The police chief is waiting for him. Reporters are there. He's like, oh, it's a paper. George, I've got a paper here for you. I bet that's a warrant for my arrest. Isn't it wonderful? I'm going to jail. And he doesn't care. The one little bit that I love throughout this, and we get it a lot in the montages, as they're fixing up the house, there is like I don't know, the end of the railing piece.
A bed knob.
The bed knob at the end of the railing.
Banister knob.
The banister knob keeps coming loose, and George is getting more and more frustrated with it as the movie goes. And this time it happens, and he kisses it. He's just so thrilled with it.
Which, again, in my head, I'm like, well, that will be fixed by the end of the movie. No, it's just,
it's the imperfections. Like, that's what's important. Sees his kids, is thrilled. Mary comes home, and she's George, like, it's a miracle. It's like, come downstairs, it's a miracle. Stand right here. And then everybody just pours in. It's just everyone. And again, like, my last note to any Mary haters out there. Uncle Billy walks in. The whole town is behind him. He's got a huge basket full of money. And he just dumps it on the table. He says, isn't it wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Mary did it, George. Mary did it. She called everyone. All she said was George is in trouble. No questions. People came. Like, Mary saves the day. Like, it's like Clarence saves George's soul. Mary saves his life, I think.
Yeah.
And like,
absolutely.
And people, like, they forget that.
I mean, like, to your point, the greatest gift story, it's like, in that story, the wife is married to someone else. Mm-hmm. And when he arrives and tries to give her a complimentary brush, the husband's pissed.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, it does say more about her and her love for George and, like, their relationship, that if he doesn't exist, she just never finds anyone that she wants.
Yeah.
You know, like, what? Again, this isn't a movie about, like, the alternative for those who preach the Mary problem is, I guess what they want is either she's just married to someone else, in which case I go, well, but that reflects weirdly on her after we have lines where she's like, I only want my babies to look like you. And it's like, well, so you want her to be miserable in another marriage, or you want the movie to have George see that Mary actually is girl boss slaying as a librarian.
Like, what is your alternative?
Like, what is, and I don't, I am not saying, like, work is ruining film. I'm not saying, I'm just saying that, like, that's such a weird take to arrive at.
Yeah.
I understand why you're like, well, a single woman working a job is miserable. And I go, that's not the point. That's not the point.
Yes.
But I'm just, like, imagining, like, the movie just takes a sharp turn and it's like, well, actually, Mary's actually doing great.
Mary's a girl boss now. Okay. Yeah. So everybody comes in. They just have, like, just so much. And, like,
maybe
everybody is
giving.
The
real girl boss behavior is saving the people you love.
Maybe. But I love that, like, everybody is bringing what they have. Like, Mr. Gower, he's like, I did the rounds on my charge accounts. I love Annie saying, I was saving this money if ever I was saving this money for a divorce if ever I got a husband.
It's awesome.
It's really good.
That's so cool. Martini's like, I opened up the jukebox.
I busted open the jukebox. They get a telegram that's, because, like, they mention earlier with Potter, he's like, why don't you go to Sam Wainwright? He's rich. He's like, he's in Europe. I can't get a hold of him.
Yeah.
Harry sends, I believe it is that Harry sends a telegram to Sam. Sam then sends one back and says, hey, my office is wiring you, like, in advance of, like, up to $15,000. Like, tons of money. And then Harry walks in. And he's like, as soon as I heard, he's like, I cut the dinner with the president short. Like, I had to come here as soon as I heard that this was going on.
In a snowstorm, no less.
In a snowstorm, yes. Bert the cop goes and gets him. And he gives the line that's exactly what you're talking about. He says, everybody, he's like, cheers to my brother George, the richest man in town. And
yeah, it made me cry.
Yeah, I'm tearing up as I'm talking about it right now. And they're going through all this stuff, and in the pile of money is a book of the adventures of Tom Sawyer.
Yeah,
and he opens
Clarence's
it up.
Book.
And it says, George, thanks for the wings. Remember, no one, what is it? It's like, I've got to find it. Because it's important. Remember, no man is a failure who has friends. Thanks for the wings.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the movie, and they all sing Old Lang Syne, and yeah.
Oh, yeah, so, we've talked about this, Parker, but Auld Lang Syne means a lot to me.
Yeah.
I know Harry Burns has questions, but, for me, I go, no, that's everything to me.
Mm-hmm.
is the notion of just like, whether we've forgotten people or not, cheers to them.
Yeah.
Like, everything that's happened, whether we remember it or not, like, let's drink to that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, and I don't know, I just feel like maybe there's no better way to end a movie than everyone just sings Auld Lang Syne.
I agree. I think it's kind of the perfect way to end a film. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the movie.
Good movie.
Good movie. I'm glad it hit better for you this time.
It did. It absolutely did.
Good.
Good movie.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to say before we do criteria?
No, I don't think so. I think we covered it.
Okay.
We've been talking for a long time.
Yeah.
These keep getting longer, guys. I'm sorry.
Hey, but also we've been talking about a lot of our favorite movies lately, so
it
I
just
feel
kind of
like
happens.
I mean, next episode probably won't be this long.
No.
It would be
I don't think so.
immensely impressive to me if we managed that.
Yeah.
But criteria, Parker. I think
Cultural and historical relevance, like it's the Christmas movie. I think
not
this is
only
a cultural
it the Christmas
juggernaut.
movie, it's what we keep alluding to of like, well,
Yeah.
it's sort of
It's a wonderful life situation. Yeah.
This
It's a verb. It's an
every
adjective.
once in a while on this show, we cover a film that literally created a new verb.
A turn of phrase. Yeah.
A turn of phrase. This did that. So point to It's a Wonderful
Point to
Life.
It's a Wonderful Life.
Come on.
How well is it doing what it's trying to do?
Perfectly.
Yeah, you know,
Despite me being 23, taking all the wrong meaning, that's my own shit. It's doing everything perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And do you like it?
Immensely. I can't even do my usual bit. I adore this thing.
Yeah.
And it's
Clean
like,
sweep.
and it's what you and I talk about a lot of like the fear of revisiting your favorites and like worrying that they're not going to hold up. And I partially have that every year when I come to this, where I'm going, I'm like, am I gonna like, because it just, I don't have a movie that's held on this long in my life.
Yeah.
Like all the others that have been like, oh, these are the top ones, these are the favorites, like they've shifted, they've moved a lot. This one has been the same for me for 15 years.
Yeah.
And it doesn't go away. And like, I worry that like I'm being naive, you know? Some part of my brain is like, you're being simple, you're being saccharine, like it's not that great of a movie. And I'm like, but it is. Like, it's not only is it hitting on every emotional level, like there's some good filmmaking going on here. Like there's some great direction, some stellar editing. Like it is a very technically well-made film. And it's one of those things that like I have seen this be a play before and it doesn't hit the same way. Like there is something about the filmic language that works here for this story in a very particular way.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I just like, I'm always afraid that it's not going to hold up and it's going to slip out of my number one spot. And it just doesn't. Like it consistently just speaks to me in the very core of my being somehow. So, yeah. What about you? What do you think?
Lovely. I mean, I'm gonna let you say that last word on this, and just say clean sweep.
Clean sweep. I
Clean
think
sweep points for It's a Wonderful Life.
Yeah.
Do we need to take a step back, or do you just want to take it?
I think I'm just gonna take. Like, what's the point?
Take it.
I'm just gonna take it. Ladies and gentlemen, It's a Wonderful Life is better than Citizen Kane.
Wowza! Not only is that the end of this great gargantuan episode, but it's also the end of the year.
It's the end of the year.
End of a season, if you want to call it
Year number
that.
3, folks.
Year
Season
3 in
is
the books,
done.
Parker.
Wow.
And I think next time we'll do what we're talking about next time, because it's going to be a shorter episode. We are covering Maya Daren's Meshes of the Afternoon and Atland. I just wanted to also put Atland in there.
Yeah.
So we're covering those two short films, which probably won't take a lot of time to talk about.
No.
So I figure if we want to do any like end of year wrap up or like reconsulting of the list that we
could
did
be fun.
last
I would
year,
enjoy that.
I think we could tack that on at the end there.
Yeah.
But thank you, everyone who's listened this year.
Yes, thank you so
And
much for being
thank you,
here.
Parker, for continuing to do this with me.
Hey.
Honestly, genuinely, like, Parker, we started this show because you were like, well, it'll be nice to, like, have a reason to talk to each other every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And for a long time, that felt like, yeah, but we see each other anyway.
Yeah.
And then I'm genuinely just going to say that in the last, 6 months, when we've both been busy, primarily you've been very busy with, I was working, and then you did the play that you've been doing.
And I moved across the country.
And you moved across the country. I'm genuinely, this has actually gone about doing what you said it would do.
Yeah, this is the lifeline to keeping us in regular contact,
in touch.
which I appreciate, and it's been lovely. Thank you for doing this with me.
Thank you. It's a wonderful time to do it with.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, thanks everybody. We'll be back next year with Maya Darren. Real quick, Parker, just because I think this will be a good thing to do. What else are you really excited to look at next year?
We'll
just do a little sneak peek.
Yes, a little sneak peek.
One or two that you're excited about.
Next time, I also want to go back the next time we record and talk about our favorites from this last year.
Yes, and we will do that, I think. Yeah,
Looking forward to this next year. Selfishly, I'm really thrilled for my birthday pick of Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl.
It's going to be fun.
Really excited about that one.
Excited to revisit that.
I am super looking forward to watching Harikiri. I'm really excited for that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because is that still the Letterboxd number 1?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Okay. I know nothing about it.
That. Yeah, I know nothing about it.
So really thrilled about that. What about you?
Yeah. I mean, those are very exciting. I'm really excited to talk about Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. That's a movie that I saw for the first time this year.
Yeah.
And I put it on the schedule for next year just because I didn't want to mess with what we already had in place. But I am I'm just itching to talk about that movie. I was so blown away by it. It's my favorite first time watch of this year, by far.
Really great.
So I'm really excited about Mr. Smith Goes to Washington, and should I give away what our bad movie is next year? No, I won't. I'm also excited to. I'm genuinely excited to talk about Broadcast News, which is not the bad movie next year.
No, it is not.
But that is just a movie that I love, and I do look forward to talking about that. And
Facing the Crowd, I forgot. Yes,
Facing the Crowd. That'll be fun.
The Crowd is going to be a lot of fun.
It's a good year. I think
it's a good year. It's going to be good stuff. A
lot of stuff I haven't seen. So.
Yes, I love when we show Max stuff they haven't seen. It's good stuff.
Well, thank you, Parker.
Thanks, folks. Thanks so much. Thank you, Max. Thanks for listening. Happy holidays. Happy New Year. We will see you in 2026, friends.
See you then.
Bye.
Goodbye.